drill, man.
We'll just do. We'll just test out the mics, make sure everybody's good.
That's good. Now I can like live adjust if anything too.
Yeah.
Because before, if I was sitting there, like I couldn't actually change anything.
That's right. Yeah, you got
all these little considerations.
That's right.
That you have to make. Yeah.
Yeah, you definitely need to be in producer mode.
Yeah.
You know?
Let's try your mic out.
Sure. Test.
Good.
Yeah.
Test.
Does he need to move up at all, or are you good like that?
Test.
Lean back?
Test.
Yeah, as long as you're hitting the
Yeah,
green.
you're good.
Okay. I should look at the mic also. That's what I'm talking, right?
Bop, 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 bop. All right.
Yo. All right,
Sweet.
let's get it going.
Cool. So yeah, well, anything you wanted to touch on specifically, or just?
I just told him not really.
Not really, right?
Yeah, so if you have anything for like the big topic, then. But I was saying that we could just do like first block, like who are you guys, and second block, like if something leads in naturally from the first part. If not, just like what are your thoughts on the Scarborough arts scene?
Yeah. No, well, we'll wing it. We do that.
Yeah.
We like to freestyle.
I love it.
And then if we, I'll check my phone and see if there's anything
Cool.
that I got. Might be that might work.
Okay. Good to go.
Good. Test.
I didn't put the intro. So do you want to? Are you gonna put the video screen? The animation intro. Are you gonna put that on the?
Yeah, I put that. I'll put that.
So we don't need any
audio.
music for the.
So don't worry about that.
Yeah.
I would say just in between.
Yeah.
Whenever break happens, we just gotta do that. Cool. Are we good?
Yeah.
All right. We are live on YouTube and shit, right?
Yep.
Cool. I'm gonna pull that up just in case.
Lock the camera every time. No. Not bad.
I'll move up.
Yeah, you gotta scoot up.
I'll move up.
I mean, yeah, the live camera isn't that important. It's just.
Oh, okay, sure, yeah.
Yeah.
Who's watching?
I don't think anybody.
Your ops, man.
Who's out
All
there?
your ops.
Austin Dustin?
Austin Durant.
Austin Durant.
This guy anonymously goes after Yanni.
All right. Okay. Yo, welcome back to Lost and Talks podcast episode. We gotta change this. I just noticed. 104.
4. That's
4.
3? 4?
3 or 4. 3 or 4. Welcome back, Lost and Talks. We have guests today. This is our second episode or second episode.
Second episode back, yeah.
We got guests today. Still on the low budget setup. I'm just waiting to link up with Ian because he has the fucking monitor and lens. But for now,
Still just audio for now, old
just
school
audio.
podcast format flow.
And a live stream. So make sure you guys are hitting up the Lost Nostalgia channel, checking out the live stream there. We're probably going to be live streaming these from now on while also recording on the better camera.
Mm-hmm. Maybe some IG, who knows?
Some IG. We might have to touch everything, Pause. But yeah. How about you guys introduce yourself? Let us know who the fuck are you?
Sure, I'll go first. I'm Nanu. It's an honor to be here, to be a guest on your pod. Thank you for having me.
Appreciate it.
I don't know how to describe myself. I guess, I'm a guy who's lived in Scarborough for all his life. Well, I came here when I was like 2, but for most of my life, and I just care a lot about this place. Do I give you like my job history or something, or
anything you want to? I mean, I don't think we like on the first episode back. We said let's do an intro, but I don't think I said what I actually did. Kind of did. Yeah, but I talk more about just like where we grew up. So it's like whatever you're feeling.
Whatever you feel.
Yeah. Care a lot about Scarborough. I do like some community work, some youth work, some like arts organization type of stuff. But yeah, I think that's a good background for me. Go ahead.
I'm Krish. I've never lived or grown up in Scarborough. Admittedly, I'm from Pickering. But it's not. I'm not proud to be from Pickering, but I don't shy away from being honest about where it is that I've grown up, because we have to be honest about it. But I have a great amount of I feel connected to Scarborough. I think not only from the people that are here, but also just having family kind of here, and there also just being a lot of kind of rich historical significance to this place. And as a result, I've been fortunate to work on creative projects and art programming or community engagement tied to Scarborough communities with Nyanu and with different art groups like the Tamil Archive Project. So we're very, lucky to not only work on those projects and kind of learn and be involved in what kind of happens in this city, in this place. But also very thankful to be here. Appreciate you guys having us, man.
Yeah, man. Thank you for coming through today, guys. We really do appreciate you. And we're gonna treat this like we don't know what the fuck you do or
Sounds
anything
good.
like that. So we're gonna ask the basic questions.
Sounds great.
Go for it.
Obviously. So how should I begin? How did you guys meet?
Yeah, that's a good question.
I'll let you answer that.
All right, I feel like there's like stages of meeting him. I knew of him.
Yeah.
I knew of him because Krish actually did like this podcast back in the day.
You make it sound like it's literally like 5 years ago. It's
Yeah,
not
it was
that
like 5
long.
years ago. But I would like listen to it, and I was like super excited by it because it was like two young Tamil men who were kind of approaching topics and things that I cared about in a very unique way. And I was like, oh, like this is amazing that, you know, people are talking about things like this. So I was a fan. I would just like comment under his SoundCloud and like on multiple podcasts. And then like I found out I had mutual friends with him, and then, you know, you can finish off like how we ended up actually meeting.
Yeah, basically, I think it would have been the top of 2019. Nyanu was doing youth work here in Scarborough at the time, and where he worked, they ran a cooking program for the youth there called the Chef program. Chef, right? Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
And
Cooking for healthy eating and fitness.
there you go.
Terrible acronym.
They made it work.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's. I mean, I'm surprised no one's ever come up with that before.
That's
you
right,
know?
that's
Yeah,
right.
true. Yeah.
And so I worked as a cook for several years, and I think Nyanu was looking for a cook to help facilitate this program, and so he reached out to you reached out to someone, Viveda, I
Someone,
think,
yeah, and they told me.
and
about you.
and then he reached out and was like, yo, do you want to teach these kids how to cook? And then so that would have been top of 2019, and then from there we ended up just connecting more on all sorts of things, a lot of different interests, I think. But I think simultaneously, I'll at least speak for myself. Like, I think it was definitely very refreshing to also kind of like meet someone who I think was like willing to engage in more like emotionally driven conversation as well. I think unfortunately it feels rare, and something I feel like I find myself fighting for, to like have that kind of more emotionally charged or like emotionally reciprocal conversations with men, especially. So very emotionally available person in Nyanu. So so it
Damn.
definitely allows for friendship to flourish
Yeah.
in that
That's
way.
good.
Yeah, man. So that's
I was
that's
thinking
cool
about that
too.
the other day too. It's really hard to make new friends, you know, when you get older. I
Yeah.
think especially like I don't know what the pandemic means for that, but I feel like especially us at this age, it's like this is a weird age for you to start making new friends. You know what I mean?
It
Like,
is.
because then I feel like there's the school friends and the work friends, and then there's like a gap where the next set of friends you really make are like your kids' parent, you know, friends of your kids' parents
Right.
or whatever
Mhm.
kind of thing. You
Yeah,
know?
it's a weird thing.
Yeah.
It's like you just said, yeah. But I feel like what happened was, you got put in certain situations. You're kind of forced to be in school or having to go to
Yeah.
work or even being a part of your church or whatever,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
And that's how you just made friends. So now when I'm just outside, I'm like, shit, where do I begin?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Where do I
One of
begin?
these, like
Yeah, because I'm interested
Yeah.
in
Nervous.
making more friends that are around my age. I'm like, even in my area, like living in my
Mhm.
area and shit, like somebody to like just smoke with, like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Just something like
Just a
that.
local coffee shop date or something, you know?
Yeah,
It's just
yo.
nothing serious. Yeah, but
Just if like I'm free,
Yeah.
we could chill, we could grab
Yeah.
a beer. Why not?
Yeah.
You know? But it's just weird.
Yeah.
such a good point.
It's weird these days.
It's interesting. we were hanging out with a couple of our friends yesterday, and one of our friends, they were saying, you know, they're seriously considering like moving out of the city. They were born here, then they spent almost all of their adolescence in the States, and they've come back here since then. And for a variety of reasons, they kind of have a conflicting relationship with Toronto. But one of the big things is that like they feel like there's no room for spontaneity. It's like even if I want to see my friend who's like a 5-minute walk away, we still have to like plan it for like next week or the week after, or we got to like schedule a time. There's like no more room for spontaneity, pardon me. And I mean, their point was that that's more so just like a product of kind of capitalism. It's a product of like the way that like we're all just grinding and are tired and
life.
Exactly. And that point is very fair. But on the other hand, it's like, it's kind of frightening that it's like, yo, this person is like a 5-minute walk away, you know? We think about as like a kid, like you literally walk over and just like knock on their door and be like, yo, are you good? Like, let's go ride our bikes or whatever. So to kind of like lose that is a scary thing. Because it's also like, do I have the energy to be meeting someone new? I imagine it's very similar to like dating at that point, right?
Basically, yeah.
I am curious though for all of you, if you don't mind me asking, do you feel like you're at a point in your life where you know what things you want from friendship and like what things anchor the most meaningful friendships you have in your life? So it's like, I think it's very clear that question is thought about a lot more when it's framed around a romantic partner. Just like, what are you looking for in a life partner, blah, 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 which is important. But I don't think it gets asked enough / at all when we think about friends. And so I'm curious to know, even if you haven't thought about it, what are the few things that kind of come to mind for all of you?
A couple of things that come to mind. Obviously, you know, somebody loyal. But I hate to, it just sounds, it sounds like lovey-dovey shit, but obviously it's like, this is the type of stuff that you are looking for in a friend, right? Somebody that's going to, you know, be there throughout the good and the bad. Me, it's about loyalty, respect, trust, and also, you know, a certain amount of understanding. And also recognizing that communication can and always should just be open and honest, you know? Like me and Kevin, I don't know if did you tell him about us or no?
Yeah, a little bit.
A little bit. The two of you live next to each other.
Yeah, I lived right over there.
I
lived in the house right over there. And he moved onto the street in grade 4 and stuff like that. So it's just like, I guess you have to be my friend, you know?
His mom forced him to come and introduce himself to me. I remember that. I'm like, damn, like I would never do that. Like as a kid, I'm like, I would never go up to a kid and just introduce myself. Say, what's up? I was like, I respected him right away for that. You know?
Exactly.
And then I found out it wasn't even, but you know, it was,
you know, they had to set it
but
up.
then I respected it again. I'm like, no, that's cool. You still did it.
Friendship.
Yeah.
But it's just like it was cool because it was like, we were becoming friends, but as we got older and stuff like that, I was able to be like, you know what, Kevin's my boy. Like, he's been there for tough times, been there for the good times. We both understand each other to a certain degree, and we both align on a lot of things, which is crazy because we just so happen to move in right beside each other.
You know
it's
always one of those things that I think both of us think about it like individually, and we've talked about it on the podcast too, where it's like, are we so similar, or are we so like aligned because we're next to each other, but also at the same time, like I know we're like 9 years old, 10 years old at that point, like we're at least half formed, you know, like
absolutely.
had a personality, you know. When you're in like kindergarten, you could kind of like be friends with anybody, but there's that point, grade 3, grade 4, I think that's when it starts, where it's like you start clicking up choosing. A little bit.
Absolutely.
So it was kind of like, it was very interesting. You know, Jamal and Sampreet, like two people where I'm like, these are two people that I have really like strong alignments and like connections with, but I can't tell if it's because we've known each other for so long and we obviously grew up together, or if I think it's a combination of both, obviously, for sure. Right? It's like that nature and nurture debate type of thing, right?
But at the same time, it's like we've had friends too that we also grew up with around here that we're just.
Exactly, yeah. Like those types of friends who were just there just because they were like, they were still there. Like there's, you know,
the man's right there.
Yeah.
He's just over here. But it's just like, that's not a thing I'm interested in anymore.
Right.
But those are the main things, you know, the basics, trust, loyalty, honesty, communication, being able to, joke about each other whenever, comes down to it.
Yeah,
It's about being able to roast the man at the end of the day and know it's just you're just joking.
Know that line, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
We know that line. Those are the main things. You guys want to go ahead? Anything
I
different?
would add, just like consistency with certain things.
Yeah.
Like being able to feel someone's presence like regularly is a good thing. I feel like that's part of what's missing too. Like not being able to be in a new place and have consistent relationships, I think is a big bummer.
Mm-hmm.
I think another thing for me is like, this is gonna sound like one of those, you can't handle me at my worst, you don't deserve me at my best.
Yeah,
type of things.
yeah.
But like, there's kind of some truth to that. Like, I want to like be able for you to forgive me if I'm being a shithead.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly.
I've had like, I'm like making friends with someone right now actually, and like we're hanging out when we're building this friendship. Like I can see it. I feel like now that I'm older, I can like see it forming.
Mm-hmm.
And they were kind of being difficult at one point, and then they realized it and they were like insecure about it, but I was like, no, it's cool. Like I'm actually like totally fine. Like it is not a big deal. I feel like that's such an important step to get across.
Forgiveness.
Yeah.
Empathy.
Exactly. Yeah.
Because especially when you're in those first interactions, everybody's kind of on their like best behavior.
Exactly.
But there's inevitably, the more you with
Hang
somebody,
out, you find out, this person.
there's something that's just gonna piss you off, And I feel like there's nothing, once you realize that, like, if you're alone by yourself, you're gonna piss yourself off after a certain point. It's one of those things where it's like, like ideal roommates and shit, like, you're gonna be pissed off by anybody you spend time with, including yourself. So like, if you can give that forgiveness to yourself, then you want that from your friends too.
Exactly,
for sure.
How you communicate that and just like put that out in the open, right? Open up wounds, whatever it is. No, that's a very good point.
Yeah. It's just strange, like, because I'm older, I can see this shit now, like happening in real time. It's interesting.
Yeah, I would say another one would be judgment.
Oh yeah.
To a certain degree, like if you're just off the fucking rails, then you need to call that out. You know what I mean? Right. But I feel like, this obviously has to do with even more time. Like I have a friend, and she's a girl. Her name's Blurta, and she's a girl. You know what I mean? So she has this different mind. All these other things are happening in like her world,
different lived experience.
And I've recognized that she talks to other people about the same types of things that we talk about, but she's only able to talk about like the extra real shit with me.
I see what you mean.
Because she's tried with those other people and they get weird.
Right.
They're like, oh, we don't want to talk about this sensitive topic. We don't want to talk about race. We don't want to talk about this and that. But she can straight up come to me and ask me a question about black folks.
Right.
Yeah. And I'm like, well, obviously I don't know all black people, but I'll give you a basic rundown of my knowledge living in that world. You know what I mean? And she doesn't, because she's like, she's Albanian, so she's white but not really white, but she's white. You know what I mean?
And Albania is like that perfect, middle thing to describe that too, because it's like European is like, but like Albania is like it's European, but it's like the least European.
It's weird, they're white and not white, but whatever. So it's like she has questions about just like race and I hate black women and shit like that, right? And I have to explain those things sometimes, and she feels better being able to talk to me about those things, because if you were to bring that up with one of her friends that is of the same race, they'd be like, oh, what the fuck, right? And I also know same thing with Kevin, Sampreeth, and a lot of my close friends. We could say that real shit around each other, and everybody kind of gets it. And even if somebody is wrong, they'll bring it up.
There's space. There's space.
There's conversations at least. You know what I mean? Even if they don't agree at the end of the day, it's like at least there's room for conversation. You know,
like hands aren't being thrown. It's like we can talk about.
We can fucking talk about this shit. Nothing has to be crazy. Like we can call Ian. He's known in our group as the dick. He's just a dick. Yeah. He could be a dick. I shouldn't say he is a dick, but he can be a dick sometimes, or like be very. What's the word? What's a good word for Ian?
It's kind of like like, you know, just judging things like straight
like
up.
condescending,
Yeah,
maybe?
fuck, yeah, you know, like
He says what's on his mind immediately.
yeah,
Right.
exactly.
It doesn't.
Yeah, yeah.
It
Blessing
doesn't.
and a curse.
That's what we said a lot to him. Actually, now that
Yeah.
I think about it,
Yeah,
we said he's you. Ian will talk to himself too, and he'll just say shit, but he doesn't know he's saying it out loud.
Right.
And we understand that hanging out with him, it used to piss us off a lot. We'd call him out for it, and it got to a point where it was just like, oh, that's just him.
Yeah, yeah.
Can we accept that? Yes.
Right.
Because it's not like he's that much of an asshole.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's just saying what's on his mind first, and then we, after conversations with him and telling him, yo, this is what's bothering us about what you're
Right.
doing.
Right.
He's gotten a lot better, but sometimes he has his moments. But that's fine. You know, at least I see some type of progression there. At least he's hearing us out.
Right.
At the end of the day.
And you raise a good point in that it becomes give and take too, where it's just like in the way like the friendship becomes more powerful by way of you doing the same thing that he's doing, which is speaking your mind and being like, hey, that actually bothered me, or that annoyed me, or
Yeah.
that made me feel confused, or whatever it is. That's you speaking your mind in the same way that he's being forthright, right? And it allows for that balance to be like, in the ways in which he feels comfortable saying something aloud, it can be really easy to hold that in, but you know that that's not going to do you any good, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Everybody is able to like get things off of their mind without feeling like they might be judged straight up,
Exactly.
you know? Yeah.
No, that's great.
Yeah.
No, that's great insight. Yeah, anything in particular that comes to mind for you?
That's what I was gonna say. Just like, you know, being able to feel like you're not censoring yourself or holding yourself back before you even, you know, sometimes you don't even like. I don't know what the end of my sentence is gonna be.
Yeah.
So I don't know what could come out of this at the end of my thought. But like, I don't want to be judged for like if I am thinking like, do I want to go this way, and then, you know, you start getting confused. It's like, I don't know if I can say that, and then it's just like messes with your head, you know. So being able to just like feel not. It's like the opposite feeling of being on a podcast, actually. You know, like the feeling of like, oh shit, did somebody hear that? Like that's what I don't want to feel like when I'm with people.
For sure. Yeah. That's great insight. I appreciate it because I think it is like, I think it's important. I think I won't say that all people don't struggle with this, but I think men especially struggle with trying to form friendships because of like.
We struggle with a lot.
They struggle with a lot. That's right.
Yeah.
And forming meaningful friendships, I think, can be a hard thing because, one, there's way more weight and pressure and value placed on your engagement in romantic settings versus just the way which you form these bonds that are is vital to your life and your health and your well-being, right? But two, there's like no language for it, or like not a comfortable language, you know, because it's like it's so easy for you to even just say something like, oh yo, like I want my boys to like hold me down or whatever, and immediately you have to be like, people be like, oh man, that's kind of gay, man, or whatever, and it's just like, fuck, like I can't even just say like my needs without being judged, right? That becomes a problem.
Hold you down.
They're like, hey, yo.
sorry. I didn't do that. I'm sorry.
Case in point, you know.
Yeah.
There's like what I'm also trying to do, because I've noticed that, you know, this whole fucking pandemic bullshit is kind of, I don't want to say it's fucked up any of relationships that we've had, but it's like everybody's a bit more distant now.
Definitely.
Just because during that whole time, a lot of things changed.
Yeah.
Right? It's like I was telling you guys before, I moved. Ian moved. He lives out by the airport. Our boy Smitty, he moved to Markham.
We all used to be in Scarborough.
We all used to be in Scarborough. So it'd be like, Kevin's place is the spot. We're going to meet there. We'll all hang out for hours upon hours. But now it's just like, all right, I'll see you guys in like 2 weeks.
2 weeks, yeah.
And then even before that, what we're used to is Jamal and Sampreet coming over without them even needing to tell me sometimes.
Yeah,
just
we'd
like
be here every day, basically.
Yeah.
Wow.
Every day, basically.
It's you know when you see those that picture of like kids, adults, and like old people or whatever, where it's like when your kid time, money, and like energy or whatever.
Yeah, like a triangle.
Yeah, you know, like, oh shit, that's exactly what it was. It's like if we had the amount of time that we had when we were kids doing this shit now, which is all we really need, is to be able to come in and just do shit every day. Which is what you want to work. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And you need to buy that. When you're older, you need to buy that time that you have when you're kids. You know.
What I'm trying to do as we get older right now is like, that's what is going off of that point where we've all kind of gotten distant, is I'm realizing I'm like, yo, I want to make sure these guys are my friends forever.
Yep.
You know? So I'm starting to think, you know, what can I do? I try to get people together as much as possible.
Yeah, man.
You know, even though we're all busy.
Yeah.
Like,
It's hard work.
Like how long ago? It was a while ago, but we went to fucking like Java House.
Yeah.
We chilled, just caught up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man.
And then around October time, I want to just invite guys over. Yo, just pull up for like a Friendsgiving, bro.
Yeah.
I love
We'll
that.
just hang out.
That's the
love
best,
that.
man.
Yeah.
So,
I always think about this in the same way, where it's like if someone's not doing this work, it's never gonna get done.
Yep.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And like same experience for me as well. All my friends have like scattered to the winds, like Whitby and Saga and shit. So my strategy has been online gaming now, so running like Apex
Exactly,
Legends.
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
But yeah, it's tough.
It is stuff. I had to try and force these guys to get on Discord,
It still didn't happen.
and it's
yeah.
still like they're all on it now,
Yeah.
but they don't use it yet because they're just like they don't all get it yet.
Yeah.
And I'm like, bro, this is the tool.
This is what keeps our
This is
friendship
what-
alive.
Exactly. I'm like, this is it. This is now or never. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? It's Discord. But they'll obviously get it within time because they haven't had to implement it fully into their lives, and they're not on the whole gaming thing either. Like,
Right.
I don't want to say I'm a gamer, but I'm in that world. I pay
Mhm.
attention to streamers and YouTube shit and
Yeah.
what's kind of going on there. So I've always known about Discord.
Right.
But obviously it's not everybody's world, you know. Yeah.
Yeah, either. It's also, I can imagine apprehension being around it just being like another platform.
Yeah,
You know, it's
another
just
app.
Exactly. Another app I have to
That's
download,
true, yeah.
which is understandable.
We're kind of right now where we are, communication wise, is like, you know, which it was already like this before Discord,
jump
but
around
before
them.
it was like, you know, do I DM this person on Instagram? Do I WhatsApp this person? Do I
Right.
text this person?
Facebook
Email?
message him.
Yeah, Facebook.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
it's
yeah,
like,
yeah.
how many more do you want to do? When I saw Discord, I'm like, yo, this is the thing that condenses all of these into one. But the problem is, you need to get
You need
everybody to migrate over
here
to
and
it,
actually
right?
using it,
Yeah,
That's right.
which is the hard part. But we're working on that.
Digital migration, man.
yeah.
Yeah.
Crazy thing.
Which is crazy when you think about. We got all our parents and stuff on WhatsApp, so
That's right.
I
It's
know
true.
Discord's different, but it's not. You know what I mean? Like-
Exactly.
It's not 100%.
It's not.
100%.
It's better.
yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
It's better. But hey,
More streamlined.
it is. What it
The other thing I was gonna add to that too is like, just on the conversation of friends, like, you know, the friends that my closest friends were people that I grew up with, who then became like my closest collaborators.
Mm.
So for me, I feel like, and then especially if, you know, every time I'm meeting somebody new, generally the context would be, you're in the space, you're in the artist space in some extent, right?
Right.
So it comes down to things like trust, but then it's like, not only are you trying to establish this personal relationship with somebody, but now you're also like navigating this professional thing.
Creative. one, too.
Whereas, so at the same time as you're trying to get to know this person and like, how can we gel on a personal level, on a creative level, you're also thinking about like, what's the money situation gonna look like? What's
Right.
Yeah.
is this person a snake? Like, you know, like, you don't know sometimes. People can
Facts.
be very nice people and very like creative and stuff, but then just like weird with money.
Yeah.
You know?
Understandable.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a weird topic. It's another one of those things where it's like financial literacy and things like that. You don't want to have these conversations with
Yeah,
people.
transparency around
Yeah,
money.
unless-
People can get weird.
You know, it's people who are like in the same friends who are like in the same like financial bracket, or they're in the same world. You know, they kind of do the same things. I'll find like when I see like adult friend groups, it's people who kind of migrate to that too. It's not even like you kind of have to drop people who might not be in the same tax bracket as you and things like that.
Yeah.
You know?
Which is crazy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is really wild that like that's just like literally like class
Yeah.
divides,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
It's the game.
Yeah.
Insane.
It's
Yeah.
the game, yo. I have a question. Just going back to you guys.
Yeah.
What? And this is gonna be a hard one, but maybe an easy one. What would you say it is that you do?
This guy's a multi-hype
Oh,
for me. bro.
Exactly. Because I feel like
go
these
first.
days you have to be a little bit of everything.
And we were talking about this before.
We were talking about this last week.
We were talking about this before too, like before you came.
Oh,
We were
before I
talking
came,
about it a
yeah.
little bit, and it's like, it's like, I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a-
well,
it's-
if somebody
good eyes.
asked you what you did,
Fair.
just on the street, other than me, obviously. 'cause
I
I'm
will
asking you
say,
now,
I will say, for me, there's not too many hyphens, which is it's okay. It makes it a little bit easier. Professionally, I work in podcast production,
Mhm.
so I get paid to work in the kind of creative development side of podcast production, as well as like archival stuff. I'm still pretty early on in doing this professionally and getting paid to do it. But yeah, and so yeah, right now I help with the production of shows, not really in the kind of like script writing and like interviewing and putting shows together, narrative shows specifically. But I'll help with archival stuff. I'll help with sound design. I'll help with doing research, some of the admin stuff, and then of course work my way into like, you know, script reads and things like that. But outside of that, I think for me, I'm still quite interested in the world of audio. So I mess around with music as well, and DJing. And so in the many ways in which those things kind of manifest are all of great interest to me. But yeah, I would say like that's maybe where most of my kind of energy and kind of time lies, maybe professionally and creatively. And I also really fuck with cooking. I really enjoy cooking. I did that for a while as well, but I don't do anything that I get money from it, but that's just something that brings me a lot of joy. So something I'm always kind of keeping tabs on and fucking around with. Yeah. So that's how I'd answer that question.
Man, I still don't know what to say. Like professionally, I do like public legal education with this legal clinic for young people. So I go to like high schools and teach kids about their rights and stuff. So I'm really into like youth work, working with young people, education, and stuff that like involves community and trying to like uplift people. Like it's mad corny, but that's, yeah, that. And but I also love making music, or trying at least, and DJing and all these sorts of things. So I don't know, it's so hard.
Yeah, this guy does a lot more, man. This guy's
I'm a hustler.
Yeah.
That's what I am.
This guy does collage work, man. This guy's a bird watcher. What else does he do? This guy has
about to farm.
Oh yeah, this guy's a farmer. He runs a farm. Tell him about the farm, man. That's actually really sick.
Okay, but I should stop talking about it because like we're not doing a good job with it. We're really shitting the bed.
This is the last time.
This is the last time. There's like, you know, the hydro fields near like Morningside and Finch.
Yeah.
Like to the north of it.
Yeah.
So I live right on the border of that, and they built a community like urban farm there.
Yeah.
Galen
Oh, okay,
Weston.
I've seen those.
Yeah. So you sign up. We signed up like 2 years ago. You get 10 rows of like 100-foot long farmland. It's still relatively small when you look at like an actual farm, but you can grow a lot. So we've been growing for a couple of years, like just tomatoes, peppers, and random stuff. But yeah, last year we didn't do so well because, you know, my family was busy, our neighbors were busy, and this year like there's this other plot that these two old ladies run.
The farm beef is crazy.
No, it's not even beef. It's not even beef.
Politics. Sorry.
But there's politics because these two old ladies, they like get up at like 5 a.m. They're like growing just spinach. That's all they're gonna do.
Yeah.
And this year they asked us, "Yo, if you guys aren't using your farm, like, we'll take half of it and grow spinach."
Damn.
And we're just like, "Yo, you
trying
can't
to run
do
me off
this
my
like
block,
this."
yo?
Like, what do you mean?
Spinach
How
mafioso.
much fucking spinach you need, bro? Like,
Yeah,
Don
that
Don
shit grows
Corleone.
every day. It's
Every
like
day.
Play-Doh. Like you just keep cutting it, it just keeps coming back. Like
Oh, it was crazy. So me and my sister were like, "No, we can't let them do that to us. We gotta go hard this
take
year."
back your block. Yo.
Yeah.
Run it back, man. Protect your shit, man.
you gotta come back with another
Protect
green
your
too,
product.
like
That's right.
kale. You know.
We're thinking of sorrel.
Oh
Yeah,
wow.
because I don't know
that's
who's
big.
like selling that.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Do you
think-
sell at there's that farmers market like?
Yes, at Malvern
yeah.
Family Center. Yes.
Yeah.
Go
Yeah, I went there a couple times. It's I mean it's
Yeah.
mostly like spinach and
Yeah.
you know the main like because we have a little garden, so it's like whatever you can grow in your garden. But like you know there's some cool shit though, like for
sometimes,
sure. Yeah.
Because people make different products. Like people will make hot
They'll make
sauces.
hot
Yeah,
sauce
yeah,
and
yeah.
burgers,
They'll make
stuff like
tomato sauce.
That's what you go for sure.
Yeah.
Super cool.
And Scarborough Farmer Market I've been to a couple times. I really like. What
Oh,
they
where's
do.
that one set up?
There's a few like what's that park called by the Markham Rec Center that Rise runs out of. There's one there, and then there's
actually
one
know.
at
look
Woodside Square.
Okay.
And then there's one in like church parking lot at Vic Park in Shepherd, I think.
Oh shoot.
Yeah.
Okay, that's not bad. I gotta peep those. Actually.
I think it was I think it was first called the Malvern Farmers Market or something like that because
Oh.
it was somebody who started it here who's in that who lived in that lot that had like the radioactive soil.
Wait,
what?
Do you know about that shit?
No.
In Malvern?
Do you know
I have a
about
whole book about this shit.
Yeah, tell
No
us
way.
the story, man. Story time.
Books about the ends, and I'm just like,
Yeah.
what?
Dude, I have some books too. We should
That's
do
sick.
So there was this whole like legal case.
This is crazy.
This community, this housing, this specific housing block. It was actually like one block where I grew up, like where I was born. There was, I haven't read the book, so I don't know the full story. Yeah, bookmarks. Yeah.
Continue. Sorry.
So I don't know the full story because there's like differing opinions, so it might be in there. But basically, in the 40s, there was like, you know, the farmlands was being like expropriated for like industrial lands.
Right.
So there was like some weird shit going on with uranium on some of these industrial plants. So either they were like making paint or something,
Thank you.
and so
That's insane.
the soil was just like super contaminated, like, you know, radioactive levels. And then there's this whole legal case where it was like a 10-year thing where they needed to like try and find blame and shit. And so they just dug up all the soil and they like buried it just a little bit like north of here, like by Passmore.
This is nuts.
That's
Yeah.
insane.
Yeah. When I found this shit out, I was like, yo, what? I need this book first of all. And
That's wild.
but then I got it and I'm like, this is a lot of reading.
Yeah.
But this
It's
was
like
just
a
like
case
some
law
dude.
book,
This was just a guy who lived in the neighborhood and he just like compiled everything.
Yeah.
Insane.
Yeah.
Okay, it says like a community book or something.
Yeah, citizen's account. Yeah.
Citizen's
Wow.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Okay, if I'm gonna say something that I do, like I think this is what I like care about the most. Just like history about a place
Yeah.
and like caring about it, and like we've done some of that sort of work.
Archival
I feel like
work.
everything that at least I try and do kind of comes around to some shit like
Yeah.
this. You know what I mean?
Record keeping, like story keeping in a way that's like not the way that traditional white history is told. You know.
Exactly.
That's right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Think
That's
about it in
definitely like
creative ways.
where my work and like a lot of Waves work is like been pointing recently, is like how can we engage people's stories and our art and like make it part of the art, you know.
Absolutely. I feel like the Nuit Blanche exhibit was like
Yeah.
perfect example.
Yeah. Which was, I mean, we had to scale that down. We'll have a more in-depth talk about Nuit Blanche, but like we had to, our programmer back couldn't had to drop out like a month before.
Oh no.
So we had a plan to make it more interactive, where it was like motion detection would like trigger changes to the video and stuff, and like play audio that's like based on the questions that
Right.
but we had to kind of just strip that out. But I think it worked because it was much more simple.
It's a lot more simple.
Yeah.
Right.
And if we had that, I think it might have convoluted and people might not have realized that they were, you know, actually affecting the project.
Yeah, I see what you mean. Without making it too obvious. Right?
Yeah,
'Cause that's
yeah.
the thing.
Yeah, we would have to have done something where it's like swipe your hand here to, you know,
Sure.
and then it takes away from it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, because it was better that people were able just to come
just
up
watch
and
it.
have their own moment.
Yeah.
With it, you know, instead of
100%.
interact. So I guess it kind of worked out.
Yeah.
Definitely. I mean, when we came to check it
We
out,
loved
like
it.
that was first of all, it was brilliant.
Yeah.
Well done. But yeah, I think the thing that was like so special about it is like while we're just like hanging off to the side, like we can hear other people having their conversations.
That was the
which,
best
like,
part of the night for sure. Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
Truly special.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, like you said, like once you start kind of like adding these like almost like directions or whatever, it feels like you're at like Union Station or some shit,
Yeah,
you know, where there's
yeah.
just like big panels
Mm-hmm.
And it's a very Nuit Blanche thing, and I think
Yeah.
you kind of get swept up in that elitism of it a little bit, or it's like you got to put
Totally.
on like a very cool, you know. One thing I was not listening for, but I was like trying to like, what are people's, you know, you'd hear kind of people making these, I can't think of any off the top of my head, but like they would make these like art judgments about it.
Right.
And then at a certain point in the night, because that was not something you really consider until it happens, because that was like the first art installation that we put on, where it's like,
insane.
I want anybody to be able to interact
For
with
sure,
the project,
for
right?
sure.
And I think that's what we did, because I remember hearing kids being able to answer the questions, and it's like, it doesn't need to be this thing where it's like this huge. There is a big story and a big message that's being told, but you don't need to you don't have to necessarily know all of that to just actually enjoy it.
That's
still,
right.
you know.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. You can like that's just an interesting like mindset or I think a helpful productive mindset that I'm trying to kind of take on with anything that I do, which is like embrace the spectrum of like how people embrace it.
Yeah.
That could just be like someone walking by and be like, oh, that's cool music.
Yeah.
Someone walking by and be like, oh, I like the video clips.
Yeah.
Versus someone walking by and saying like, oh wow, I love that, like this is asking.
I got to come up with an essay right now. You
Exactly,
know? Yeah.
exactly. Or maybe someone is thinking about it through like a art theory lens
Yeah.
or whatever it is, and it's like all of those experiences are valid because you've just made something that someone can experience.
Yeah.
Period.
Exactly.
You know.
And there isn't one that's more right or more you comprehended it better or more, you know, you got more value out of it than the other person because
exactly.
they just answered a question or they just said, hey, cool colors, or who, you know, whatever. That's an experience. You
That's
know?
right.
That's
this is
a
a vibe. Like
Yeah,
someone's
yeah,
walking
that's-
up and be
yeah.
like, "This is a vibe." It's
Yeah.
like, that's experiential, man.
Yeah, for sure.
You don't need more words for that.
Yeah, yeah. Vibe is a great word.
Vibe.
I think it's like a great word.
It's funny, yeah. It's like a love-hate thing. I like to use it because it captures, so it captures the vibe of what you're trying to say perfectly
right.
so many times. But then it's like oversaturated.
That's
yeah.
right. Then there's a lot of times where you could really use someone using a more descriptive
Yeah,
word. And
yeah.
You're like, "Tell
That's
me
the
more."
problem. Is it gets used in situations as a cop out. Yeah.
I feel like people came up with that word because we're lacking this word.
Yeah.
You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like it's sick that we have a word for this lack of a word.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's fair. That is fair.
It's like thing, you know, you
Yeah.
don't think about how many
Yeah.
times you use thing, you know, but there's certain contexts where it's like, if you use it, that's the only word you could use because there's no word for it, you know?
Yeah.
No, that's a really good point.
Let's dive into the Nui stuff.
Yeah, please.
Yeah.
Some more.
Incredible. Did you play a role in putting it together as well?
We helped out a bit, so
Cool.
we were helping out with some of the shots that you guys were grabbing.
Yeah. And we were supposed to do a whole
We're
like
supposed to do a-
BTS
yeah.
arm, like it was part of
Mm.
the budget where we were going to get Lost in Nostalgia to like just, we did like clips of like us
Yeah.
talking a little bit about the process, and we were going to have like a 4 or 5 part series.
Okay.
It made a lot more sense if the thing came out in 2020 because we had it planned out where it was like, first part is like us applying for the grant, then the second part is like us doing the first test, which would have been like summer 2020,
Right.
and then the third part's like kind of just the build up, and then the fourth one would be like the actual exhibit and post.
Putting it together.
But
yeah.
then when you have to
Stretch
span it out over 3 and then it's like,
years.
you know, we were kind of like the same what we were talking about like it being hard to coordinate people. The easiest thing that we got to do over the pandemic was say like on a certain weekend, oh, every man is free, all right, let's go shoot the shots in the back. But to do that and then be like, yo, you guys free? Is your camera free as well? Can you guys come and do the BTS?
Yeah.
And then also like those days we would just go out, get the shots. It became like clockwork, and it was fun. You know, we would have like kind of like offline conversations. We were
Yes,
just taking
totally.
an adventure in the woods.
Yeah.
But then if we're also thinking about like, okay, what's the content of this BTS that we're trying to come up with? You know,
Yeah,
there's
there's a
so
whole
many
bunch of shit.
pieces. Yeah, there's so many
There's a whole bunch of
things.
stuff. So it was like it didn't work out how we had planned it originally, but we got some shit.
Yeah, that's the thing is there's we have the footage and like
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, it's brilliant, and you can still do
And we can
something
still do
special.
whatever.
Yeah.
absolutely,
Yeah, exactly.
absolutely. Any kind of retrospective in that way, I think, is wonderful, and I think especially when there's like just an element of like problem solving that's kind of happening, and just being able to see that. We were kind of talking about this before we started recording, which is just like it's very easy to be fooled into thinking that like great art and like great projects, great businesses even just kind of like pop out of nowhere, and that's like
Yeah.
almost never the case.
Yeah.
Exactly.
There's a bare struggle and there's
Yeah.
bare problem solving that
Mhm.
people are going through trial and error before something sticks, and like
Yep.
being able to showcase that I think is excellent. So excited to see that whenever you guys decide to release it, because I think it was a really brilliant exhibit.
Yeah. for
Yeah,
sure.
I really go back and forth on like wanting how much of the process do you
give
want to
up.
show? Yeah, how much
Yeah,
you
yeah.
want to show people, and it's like, it's like there's multiple factors. I think there's the interest level of it. There's like the spoiling the magic trick part of it that I'm not
Totally.
really sure about. You know,
Yeah,
like I don't
yeah.
know what that feels like for somebody else to watch us make something and it like either be this thing where it's like it just comes, or there's that iterative process where you have to fail a few times for it to finally come.
Totally.
I don't know what I know for artists. I'm sure you would be able to get value out of that, but I don't know what just like regular
The general
audience.
public.
Yeah,
whether,
I don't know.
What everybody else would.
But I'm sure I like when I think about it, when I'm like, damn, like especially when I'm like struggling, I'm like, if I could capture this properly right now, like I'm sure it would be helpful to people, you know.
Yeah.
Incredible. Like think about all that early 2000s like that just like footage of like Timbaland, Jay-Z, whatever
Yeah.
in the studio, and like you
Yeah.
see those like brief moments of struggle, or like Lil Wayne in the studio, like all this stuff is incredible because it's like you're getting a little bit of insight into like their process, but you're also seeing them like in a bad mood.
Yeah,
You're
yeah.
seeing them like throw shit or whatever.
Yeah, that you might not necessarily
Tired.
see.
Yeah.
Exactly,
Basically,
exactly.
yeah.
Because now it's like, yeah, our understanding is like just the good bits, because you can just whip out your phone for or whatever and just get someone creating the fire beat, whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of the first example that comes to mind. But like, yeah, those like behind the scenes documentaries that would come out like as a part of like an album rollout.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love that. That stuff is
Yeah,
incredible,
for sure.
incredible to
For
see
sure.
how people are kind of doing that behind the scenes. But I get that. Is that the question is like, if I just kind of like the music, if I had no desire or interest in like music making or just like instruments even, would that be of any interest? Right? That's a hard question.
And then it also just becomes, you know, like another piece of content where it's like, I love, like, there's one of like Justin Timberlake and Pharrell like
Oh,
doing
man.
Justified, and it's
Yeah.
there's like 15 hours of footage.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
what?
Yeah, and it's just all like uncut basically. So it's like, do you want to put,
idea.
because I think there's a difference between that kind of presentation and then like a Netflix movie of you on tour or whatever.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah.
sure, they show these struggles, but it's very curated and it's edited and it's you know, there's no raw, they're capturing rawness in the sense that maybe the camera was on when it was just capturing something.
For sure.
But they're also, you know, there's a lot of like, okay, we're gonna do this now.
There's a lot of setup.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you know.
Absolutely.
There's
There's-
definitely some type of script.
Yeah.
yeah, for sure.
That you're kind of following.
They
and
pick
working
out the
with.
conflict, whatever it is,
Yeah.
like show some resolve.
Yeah.
I guess what the closest we get to it is like people hopping on Instagram Live when
Yeah.
they're in like a studio, maybe. But I mean, like you get that for different mediums as well. Like painters, people like that can just like set up a camera and like go at their work.
Yeah, yeah.
Which I suppose is a medium, and maybe there's like an allure to the fact that like unless they save it, it's just kind of there live and then
Yeah.
it's gone.
Mhm.
Which I guess is also kind of interesting, because there is this allure to it being like, oh, it's only now that I can
Yeah.
see what's going on, or maybe ask them a question on their live.
Yeah.
But yeah, recording that process, I think, is also good for you personally too,
Yeah,
right? Just to kind of
for
have
sure.
that, like, it may not ever have to see the light of day, but
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I would
if
say
you
look
and your
at it
friends,
again in like 5 years, man. And then
Yeah.
figure.
Yeah.
That's
exactly.
that's the thing too. When I realized like really early in our careers, like when we started making like 1 year into making music, I'm like, damn, I wish we had all those stupid freestyles that we recorded, or
Yeah.
all the whatever, like just us fucking around as kids, you know, like us writing school raps and stuff, you know, like all
we
that
have, we have a
stuff.
little bit.
We have a little
We
bit.
have a
you know,
little
yeah.
incredible,
Yeah.
We
incredible.
have a little bit because at the time I recognized that as well, and I was like, "Yo, I'm just gonna record stuff." So that's what I
Nice.
did, and then I put it out on YouTube, and it's good.
It's out there, right?
Yeah.
It's just a
Okay,
good time.
gonna
So
have to dig
sometimes
for
we
that.
just look back on it and we just laugh at the shit
Yeah.
that we were saying and doing in those
Oh
moments.
man, that's the best.
That's
Yeah.
incredible.
And it's funny, you just look back at the people that you used to hang out
Yeah.
with.
Yeah,
and-
yeah.
and shit like that. It's just weird.
Man,
It's weird. It's cool though.
yeah, I'm gonna dig for that. I mean, if you're
Yeah,
comfortable
how
to
do I
share,
find
please
this?
do. But
Yeah, let's-
we gotta
we'll
find
show you
that.
after,
Yeah.
Yeah, please do,
Yeah.
because I want to see
It's
that.
an unlisted video.
Yeah,
I don't know if they are.
think
No,
it's- I think
I'm
it's
pretty sure
available,
they're.
yeah.
I'm pretty sure
Yeah.
they're still public.
yeah, man.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Keep it up there with your chest, man. It's important.
Did you guys get to? I don't know if you remember it. Did you guys get to see anything else that night?
Yeah,
And,
yeah.
and
we
if you
checked
did,
out all
anything else stand out?
Jerome Ellis, the collage guy.
Oh yeah. The collage was very sick.
I think it was like
Oh, Aaron Jones.
Aaron Jones.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
was
That
someone
remember-
else.
that-
Yeah,
remember
yeah, yeah,
Aaron
yeah.
Jones.
Jones,
Okay.
yeah, man.
Yeah.
The projection.
Yeah,
Yeah,
man.
he crushes it every time.
Everything he does is he
Aaron
he's
Jones,
one
yeah.
of those ones where I'm like, his process to me, it just seems like he doesn't have any struggle. And yeah, I know there's struggle, but it's just like it just
Sure,
seems like
yeah.
everything just effortlessly comes to him, you know,
Yeah.
like
And that's probably not even what he wants.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
right.
You know.
Aaron Jones went to the same high school as me.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and so I think even in high school, I was never super close with him or anything like that. But like even in high school, this guy just looked like he was just like floating on
Yeah,
water, like
yeah.
always.
Mm.
That's his energy about him. But
That's yeah. It just seems like he's either always on a skateboard or he's like doing some crazy collage shit,
Yeah.
some ridiculous archival work.
Crazy vibes.
incredible stuff.
Yeah.
Shout out to Aaron. Yeah,
Those are the people that get
incredible.
jealous of sometimes.
Yeah, yeah,
Fucking asshole.
definitely.
It's the skateboarding specifically too, because I'm like, man, that's just that thing of culture. Where it's like we tried, but it's like
Same.
on our block there wasn't enough like
There was enough shit going
They
on.
gotta
not enough
skateboard now.
motivation, you
That's
know.
right.
Yeah.
And also the mental fortitude to
Yeah.
just like keep falling,
Yeah,
keep
Yeah.
missing the kickflip. whatever it is.
That's why I just never did none of the tricks. I was like, fuck the tricks,
Yeah.
man. I just cruised
Just
around.
trying to cruise, man.
I just cruised around
for a
on my
breeze.
skateboard, and that was it. I was like, I can get up on a curb, and I'm fine.
Yeah.
Like,
You know what? That's better
As
than
long
I
as you
could
can do the Bart
seriously.
Simpson, like, you know, you're
Yeah.
just cruising around. Like,
Yeah.
you're fine. Yeah.
I'm cool.
man.
Because that was the biggest stress for me. I was like, for the longest time, like, shit, I have to hop on the skateboard to cross the street. 'cause I don't know if I'm gonna make it on the other end.
Yeah, actually though.
And this is scary, bro. I don't have people watching me and shit. I remember one time. How'd you guys get here? Bus? Car?
I drove today.
Drove.
Fortunately.
So you know that hill right at the top over there, coming down.
Yes.
To the street.
Yep.
I tried to ride my skateboard down there.
Wow.
Oh, my
Daredevil.
Lord. It's stupid.
Honestly, all you need is like the tiniest little pebble in your.
And that's what happened. I hit
no.
something and I just flew, but luckily I flew into the grass.
Thank heavens.
And the
man.
cars were just
That's
driving by.
terrifying.
You okay? And
Yeah.
I'm like, yo, back off. I'm good. This is horrible. This is horrible. But yeah, just being that type of person that's just like, you know, they just seem like, I don't know. I don't want to say free,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but it's just like,
There's an effortlessness too.
yeah, an effortlessness. Sometimes I wish I had that, but I do also understand that that's what it looks like.
That's what
Yeah,
it looks
exactly.
like.
Yeah.
You know, it's probably so much that's going on in his head. Or
Definitely.
whoever's head, you know.
That's you don't know what people think of you. You know, like he might not even know that that's his perception
That's right.
of
Yeah.
him from
That's
other
right,
people.
that's
You know,
right.
like yeah,
Because
That's-
it
yeah.
becomes cynical to think that it's like a calculated thing,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah. I
And that's
feel
all
that
you
way.
ever are. You're just people's perception.
yeah,
Yeah, man.
yeah.
It's true.
Yo, man, I was watching you like noodling around on the keys like earlier today. That looked effortless, like on his stream.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
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 Damn.
I mean, I don't know. I like it is, but I try to like purposely do that. You know, like I'm not
Gotcha.
thinking. You know, like I'm.
Oh,
Right.
yeah,
But then
yeah.
it's like I'm also thinking because it's on stream, so I'm like, what are people thinking about this?
Yeah,
You know.
yeah,
Right.
But then I just try to like get back to that point where I'm like, I'm just enjoying myself right now. I'm not
Yes.
thinking, what chord am I playing? Am I
Yeah.
playing better than I played yesterday?
Mm.
Am I playing a chord or a progression that's too basic? No, just like, I'm trying to feel it. You know?
Yeah.
Flow state.
Yeah,
That's hard work.
that's
man.
the thing I've been really thinking about like a lot. Yeah, flow state.
Yeah, I wonder. Do you feel like there are like some steps, like there's a ritual that you have to do to get into a flow state, where it's even like a thing where it's like obviously you try to enter it intentionally,
Yeah.
but you know for whatever reason your mind can wander. But
Yeah.
like, are there like a few things that you do? Like I know for me, when it comes to like for doing podcast work, when I have to like sit deep in a Pro Tools session, I always like light an incense stick before I get started.
Yeah, yeah,
Because just
yeah.
like
Little rituals.
just
Yeah.
like a little thing where
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like I read somewhere where like stimulating another sense can like allow for whatever sense that you like really need to kind of work on feel like less strained because your brain is like sending neurons to another sensory port. I don't know what the scientific word is, but like it's like instead of going all to your ears, it's like sending a little bit to your nose as well. So you're smelling something and that's easing up
Right.
like, these kind of like
You're not
nerves.
overthinking and
Exactly. so
Yeah,
your
yeah,
ears
yeah,
also
yeah.
don't get like fatigued and like you're not really
Yeah.
listening to anything anymore, you know?
Mhm.
So there's like a bit of science behind it, but now it's just like a ritual. Like I just like the smell of the incense and it
Yeah.
helps me just be like, all right, I'm focused on this session and I'm going to go deep into it. Do you feel like there's anything like that like allows you to get into that space or that you tried to use as a ritual to get into
Yeah.
that space?
I do the incense too, like,
word.
and it's not even something I didn't know about the science behind it.
Right.
It's one of those things where it's just like, just makes sense if it's like, if you're in an environment that's just centrally everything else
Yes.
around you is just comforting and like relaxing, then
Yeah.
the one that you're
Good
trying
point.
to stimulate is gonna follow suit, kind of thing, right?
Right.
Yeah,
For me, it's like making sure that my space is set up properly
Yeah,
first off,
yeah,
and then it's just adding those little things.
yeah,
What do
Gotcha.
you mean by set up properly? Like,
So I make sure, just like see how Kevin's spot is this. You could tell like this is
yeah,
a unique thing here. You know, a lot of
Right.
people when they come down here, they're like, oh yeah, I like the vibe. Like we are just
Yeah.
saying,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
like
yeah.
the vibes here.
Yeah.
yeah.
So like for me, it's making sure. Okay, I got a fat desk. I got all this space I need here, so that if I want to write something down, jot down some ideas,
Right.
you know, take a nap even. I can,
Right,
I can do
right.
it all year. I got my lights going as well. I don't know what it is with the lights, yo. I feel
It
like
helps,
such a
Yeah,
loser
that
sometimes.
is what it is
Nah,
too.
man.
Yeah, that's
I
another
feel like
thing.
such a loser sometimes. And I'm like, yo, I got these fucking RGB
Yeah.
Nah, man.
going
That's
off.
TikTok
Yeah, the
lights.
But
yeah.
bro, I'm just locked in. Like when you have
Yeah,
the
it
lights
helps.
going off, you're locked in. A joint also helps.
Yeah.
I always gotta
For sure.
smoke before hit the balcony.
Yeah, man.
You know, smoke a little bit, prepare my mind for okay. When we get back in there, this is what we're gonna do.
Yeah.
You know, go back inside. I got my diffuser.
Nice, man.
A
The
little-
scents, man.
A,
They
Yeah.
do
little, a
something.
little lavender, a little mint.
Okay. That's good, man. That's good. The lavender.
And then something to drink, depending on what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I always have to have something.
Nice, man. It sounds like there's quite a lot. Like you've allowed for almost like this, like for all of like not just like your needs, but also like all of your workflow to just be like there's no pause for like where's my notebook or where's my
Mhm.
thing.
Yeah, no, all
It's
my
like that's what you mean by
you
like
gotta have
setting
all
it
your
up.
stuff
It's like
there.
it's
yeah.
there. It's almost like that, like you know that classic like doctor like on surgery, like pass me the scalpel, like
Yeah,
whatever it is.
yeah.
It's like everything is there
Yeah.
to just reach.
I feel
for.
yeah, because there's times where it's like if something isn't set up, if I wanted to make music right now, my keyboard, I gotta go get my stand
Right.
and then set up the keyboard. That might be enough for me to
It throws it
throw
all
off the
off.
whole thing, you know.
Right.
Throws it all off.
Yeah.
Throws off
That's
the
right.
whole vibe.
Or it can be as simple as like a core USB needs to be plugged in, it's not, or something, and it's just something stupid like that where it's just like it adds that extra step, and you're like it just throws it
100%.
off. Yeah.
For me, the like point of no return is a tech difficulty.
Oh yeah, that's
Oh,
yeah.
like-
It'll crush it. Yeah.
It's just
Yeah.
like if my like sound card isn't like it's just having a tough day or something. It's
Yeah.
like it's over. Fuck it,
Yeah.
I'm done. I'm not even gonna bother troubleshooting this. That's like puts me over the edge.
You just get frustrated because you're like in your head you already know that this is gonna take up your whole work day. All the time that you dedicated to doing something
Literally.
productive
And
is
it
just gonna be
just frustrates-
troubleshooting this thing that didn't it's not even a problem that happened before, so
Right.
you're just like making up for time that shouldn't even be there now, you know, like
What do they call it in like television? Like a bottle episode where it's just like it's completely unrelated to like
Yeah,
whatever the
yeah,
main
yeah,
storyline
yeah.
is. It's just like
just in one spot.
yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
That's what it feels like. Do you have any rituals before
I
you
was
do
just thinking about it.
creative?
I don't know if I have like a physical ritual. I think I struggle with like this like idea of when I'm making something, like maybe it's visual or music, like what should this be?
Mm.
Like I'll start making something, I'm like, oh, this should sound like this, this should sound like this. But lately I'm trying to be like, okay, what could this be?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, yeah,
Which
yeah.
is, I don't know.
Trying to think about something that you're not even thinking of yet. Yeah.
And like trying to be more excited and happy about
Yeah,
this process.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
okay, what could this be? Oh, okay, this could be this, this could be that.
Right.
Versus like, no, I gotta like, it's gotta be this kind of track. It's gotta
Yeah.
be,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
It's got a Pierre Bourne type beat. It's gotta be.
Yeah.
It's gotta be. Yeah. Labeling it like that too,
Yeah,
for sure.
And it's also important to cut out as many distractions as possible because I will get fucking sidetracked quick. I'll think of something randomly.
Yeah.
But, I need to handle that now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For no reason.
The worst
You know?
is like sometimes it'll just be I want to just Google something on my phone that's actually useful, but then I turn on my phone and I'm on like, all social media.
Instagram's just
yeah.
up.
Exactly.
I didn't realize I'm scrolling through
Yeah.
Twitter, not
You're
even
like-
looking at anything. I'm just
Yeah.
scrolling through Twitter for like
You're
15
oh, wait,
minutes.
She's bad. Oh, that's funny.
I'm like, wait, what was I looking up? Like, what am I on my phone
Yeah, I
for?
didn't even get to. I didn't
Yeah.
even get to Google yet. You know. I
You
hate
know
that
what?
shit.
If anyone, any developers out there listening, man, I'm just gonna put a little PSA. If anyone can create a little like I don't know what the tool we'll call it, little Chrome extension, okay,
Yeah.
where anytime I open Twitter, YouTube, or Instagram, there's like an immediately like a filter that pops up that just asks me the question like, have you opened this up for something productive?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
And
are
then
you good?
even,
Yeah.
even if it like allows me to like say yes or no, like obviously maybe at first I can imagine myself being like, oh, you know what? No, it's not for work, so I'm gonna put this
Yeah.
away, and then it closes the browser, whatever. But then eventually I'm gonna reach a point, as we do with any of these like
Yeah.
safety mechanisms, we just fucking lie, and it's like,
Yeah.
yeah, oh yeah, absolutely. But here's where the real trick comes in. I need this thing to be tied to like an algorithm, so you know what my algorithm is,
Yeah.
to know what my like regular shit like
Yeah, when
doom
I'm-
scrolling
Yes,
is,
yeah.
versus like when something is like out of the ordinary. And then at that point there's like more filters, so it's like, okay, I'm just like on Twitter and I don't actually search anything, I'm just scrolling, then I just need this filter to be
Yeah.
like, fuck
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
Or like on
You scrolled
YouTube,
enough times.
exactly.
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
like if I'm on YouTube and they see me watching some sports shit, it's like, all right, fuck you. We know
Yeah.
you're not actually doing something productive.
Yeah.
Anyone
yeah.
out there, if you can create
That'd
that
be
for
sick.
me.
Like imagine you're scrolling on Twitter and it gets like harder to scroll.
Wow, yeah.
It starts slowing down.
Yeah.
That's sick.
That'd be crazy.
That'd be wild.
Yo, you know what'd be crazy? Yo, self-discipline, man. That'd be crazy. Imagine we had that. Imagine
Nah,
that.
fuck
Yo,
that.
if someone could build that for me, yo, that'd be
Yo.
crazy. Yo, I'd subscribe,
That's
bro.
some futuristic shit right there,
Yeah.
man. I don't know about that. That's
Let's
some
talk
alien
about
shit.
discipline.
Yeah.
What are your struggles that you guys go through?
Man.
I don't have to go too deep, but
No,
you know,
it's
when it comes
great,
to like
man.
in the discipline world, whether that be doing work, whether it be handling some business that you got to handle.
Man, two things for me: fear of failure,
Mm-hmm.
confrontation. Those are my
Mm.
big ones.
Mm.
I could confront myself very easily, but
Yeah.
confronting others,
Yeah.
definitely an anxiety around like how that's gonna go and that
Yeah.
like someone's gonna murder me because I told them to like, I don't know, whatever it is, right? Like we talked
Something
about earlier,
stupid
like
too.
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
But the fear of failure, especially now that professionally I'm being asked to do creative work.
Mm-hmm.
It gets
Yeah.
bad sometimes where I'm like, fuck me. Like, I'm getting paid to do this, which is a blessing, but I'm also just like terrified
Yeah.
of like submitting this in because I'm like convinced myself that my boss is going to be like, Chris, you're fired. This is
Yeah.
awful.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah.
Which is probably not going to happen, knock on wood. But at the same time, like, I know that stems from being terrified of like, if whatever I put out isn't the best thing ever, then it's worthless.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which like I'm sure we all feel that way
Yeah,
in
for
many
sure.
different ways. So
Yeah.
For sure.
I would say those are the two big ones for me. Yeah. How about you?
How about you?
I feel like just doing too much, signing up for too much, and then not following through is like a big one. And then I'll like do the like easy shit, and then just always have so much left to do. And maybe the discipline is just like, just fucking forget about that shit. Like give it up or like don't take,
like saying
or
no
say
more.
no.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
learning when to say no.
I feel like though, like discipline, I don't think it's completely our faults, man. Like I feel like the way everything is set up, it's like you have to just take on more shit and
Yeah,
never
yeah, yeah.
finish it. They
Yeah.
want you like running on a treadmill. You know?
I get you.
I don't know. Maybe I'm making excuses
I
for
agree.
myself. But
No, it is fair. Like it's a product of like needing extra money or just like needing to build a portfolio or whatever
Yeah,
it is,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
There's-
Standing out, oversaturation of
Exactly.
skill, even though like it's like oversaturation of like people who are qualified to do things but they don't have the qualifications, so you got to spread, everybody's got to spread their shit
That's
out,
right,
you know,
that's
like
right. That's right.
yeah.
No, 100%. That's
For me, my consistency is trash
Yeah.
a lot of the times, which is annoying. I wouldn't say a lot of the times in all things. It's like I can be consistent in communicating in my relationships.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't know. I'm pretty good with people, I would
Right.
say. But when it comes to handling stuff that I got to
for
do,
yourself.
I'm just like, oh, God.
Yeah.
You know? And it's just, I could be consistent for a month, 2 months.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I always knew this. Said, oh, it takes 90 days to start a new
Yeah,
habit.
yeah, yeah.
Break
That's
a-
right.
break a new
Yeah,
habit,
That's right.
whatever.
That's right.
And I try to make it to the 90 days. I'll make it. And I'm like, yo, fuck this.
It
What's
just
like the
becomes.
longest?
Yeah.
Thing, what's the longest like habit or whatever you?
Oh, that's a good
kept
question.
going.
For everyone.
Yeah.
I'm curious for everyone.
Shit.
Because you might even be surprised. Maybe you have one that's still going.
yeah.
I have one now. I would say nails. I used to bite my nails a lot. I remember even talking about it on the podcast, saying I was trying to stop biting my nails,
Word.
which I stopped really good for a few months, and then I started it again, and then I noticed, and I was like, nah, you gotta chill. So now I rarely bite my nails.
Right.
Really, like rarely. It's like if I'm thinking, I'll notice, oh, your finger's in your mouth. Stop.
Yeah.
You know?
You've literally changed the like gray matter in your brain.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
I just recognize it more. I'm like,
Yeah.
I can just feel it, and it just feels like an alarm going off, and my hand is right here.
Yeah.
And it's just like, no, chill. And if I do bite my nails, it's because I'm just deep in thought. Maybe I'm editing something. Then I won't even
Just
take
get back
it.
into that default mode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think that's
exactly.
a win, man.
That's a
Yeah,
good
no,
one.
it is
Yeah.
pretty good.
Yeah.
But there's other things that I prefer to be more consistent in
Yeah,
than
yeah.
that.
For sure.
You know?
For sure.
It's like I for a while I was waking up at like 4:30
Oh man.
every fucking day.
Yeah,
Just because I was like, I noticed I have my regular job and I don't get home until fucking like just before 7 o'clock after. And I'm leaving my place. I leave my place around, I'm not basically out for like 12 hours. basically.
Right.
And it's like I used to get back home and it would just be,
You're donezo.
Yeah.
done. I'm tired, bro. I'm done. I want to have my dinner. I want to watch some YouTube videos. I want to shower, go to bed.
Yep.
You know. So then I noticed that was what was happening, and I wasn't getting enough work done that I wanted to get done. So I started saying, you know, why don't you wake up earlier?
Mm-hmm.
That way you have the morning to yourself, and then you just do whatever your day, and then you come back home, and then you could just actually hang out.
Exactly.
And I was doing that for a while,
Man.
and it fell off a bit. But it's weird now. I just wake up. I could wake up at like just 5 o'clock now,
Right.
but I'll chill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's hard because I'm just
Yeah,
like,
man.
there's so much I want to do. I don't know what it is. It could be a fear of failure as well.
Mhm.
We were having a conversation last week. It was like, yo, are we subconsciously holding ourselves back from our full potential by not following through on things and
Right.
not staying consistent? Because at the end of the day, from what I've recognized personally, it's like the happiest I have been doing my work was when I was just consistent.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I don't know why I don't give that to myself.
Yeah. And then you just get more frustrated that you can't just get back into that state,
Yeah.
and it seems like the
I
easiest
got
thing to
bare
do.
edits to do right now.
Right.
Yeah.
Right now. And I'm just like, and it's like, it's not that I don't want to do them. I want to do them because I know what it's gonna do.
Mhm.
I have our YouTube channel. If I knock these videos out, to help us just get the extra little views, couple of subscribers that we need, so that we can make more money one day.
Right.
Yeah.
Because we're getting paid off of YouTube, but it's like we're not getting paid a lot because
Right.
there's no content coming out.
Right.
Right. But it's like, oh, Jamal, your life is so busy. You got this to do. Da 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 da.
Yeah.
But if I was just consistent in at least waking up in the morning and handling some of that work, I'd be cool because I liked doing it before.
Yeah.
Right.
I just stopped because one day I didn't feel good.
Right. But there's something worth like in honoring in that too, right? Because it's like, I don't know, I always think about it like, so this guy overworks himself a lot, and as a result, when he, I hope you don't want me speaking for you, but
No.
when you like go to chill, you're too exhausted to even enjoy your downtime.
Oh yeah.
And as a result, you're pissed. You're like, I'm going to bed mad because I had 2 hours and all I did was think about what I actually have to do. And so as a result, it's like there's like this exhaustion that's like coming from, it could be about two things. It could be from work. It could be from just a personal situation. It could be from your state of mental well-being, whatever it is. And that's just like this thing that like is eating at you without even realizing it, you know? It could be the fear of failure thing. That's like a big one. And a lot of people feel that. But at the same time, like I think about how like, you know, as much as like I know that like I'll annoy this guy and I'll be like, yo, you gotta chill, like literally, you gotta just not do fucking anything. It's easier said than done when like your brain is like in a place where it just like can't process or can't think about what it is that maybe you need to do or want to do in the way that you want to, right?
I get you.
Where it's like in the case where like, you know, the fact that you're waking up at 5 is incredible, but if your brain is still tired, I mean, I'm talking about science, like I know this shit, but like if your brain is still tired, or like you're still thinking about like you're waking up and you're already thinking about whatever else you have to like do in the day, like maybe it is actually a win that you wake up and like you get your YouTube time in, because you actually need a couple more hours of just fucking chilling and doing whatever you need to, right? Like that to me still sounds like a win, because there's a consistency in that you wake up at that time too, right? And like in some ways it's like it's cool that it's almost like morphed, because it's like, oh, it's I wake up and I mean, maybe it's not perceived as like me time, but it kind of is, right? You just wake up, you leisure, you take your time, you can eat a breakfast, you can chill out, you can do whatever.
And before I was the late guy.
Word.
So and that's the thing, like
that's a big change.
Yeah. I would say that's the most consistent thing I've which I didn't take it in now that we're talking about.
Right.
I'm not as late anymore. I was kind of late today, but that was because I didn't know what the fuck was going on.
That's right.
But
it's about track record.
Yeah,
right?
it wasn't anything major, right? So it was like, okay, you know, that's acceptable. But
yeah, man.
I'm pretty on time for everything else. Before I wasn't all the time, and I didn't like that quality about myself. I was like, I don't want to be the guy that's late
for sure.
You know what I mean? For shit, because it's crazy. I would show up to Kevin's on time.
yeah.
We're gonna be here for 7 o'clock. All right, I'm there.
Boom.
7 o'clock. You know what I mean? Oh, you're late for work. This is paying you.
Yeah, different story.
Yeah.
I hear that.
Yeah, but it's just I don't know. It's just one of those things. It's kind of I know I need more discipline in my life.
For sure.
I know it'll change my life for the better.
Mm.
It's just about actually being disciplined enough to.
It's like it's like putting the reward. It's like putting the rewards in. You know, it's hard to find them sometimes. Like, yeah, you get up at 5 a.m. every day. You work out every day. And if it's not even like somebody needs to tell you, oh, you're looking good, or oh, have you been working out, or it's not. You need that validation. It's just like you're tired, and you're like, why am I tired? Why am I angry? It's like, oh, because I've been working out, and it's like, shouldn't working out give you more energy?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it does. I do feel that sometimes when you're consistently working out, like you generally have more energy. But then there's those times where you're just like dead, you know, and then like it's like, why am I waking up and like. You never really get out of that as much as, you know, you could just be doing nothing, but you have that energy versus like it's like, okay, I'm working out, you know, like I got to do all of these things. And then you get to that point when it's like, especially us as artists, when you get to that point where it's like, okay, now I've set aside all these things. I've done all these productive things. Now I got to do the real business.
Exactly.
But then you're like, no. And then you think something like, oh, but my brain, you can feel like the oxygen not in your brain.
Exactly.
But you feel like that's also an excuse too, you know?
Exactly. And then you punish yourself for
it.
Which is the worst thing.
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean to look at you. But it happens.
But I know people like that as well. Like my friend Blurda, she's a lawyer, right? And she's just busy all the time. But she's been busy since I've known her.
Right.
Since high school.
Right.
Since grade 9. I'm like, what are you busy doing in grade 9?
That's
But she was just always studying.
ISUs, man.
She always wanted to be a lawyer.
Right.
So she was always just studying.
Yeah.
She was always doing extra work. You know what I mean? But then she was also like taking care of her younger brother because their mom had to work late and their dad was in Albania making money, you know? So she was doing all this shit all the fucking time. And I always told her, I've been telling her ever since I met her, you need to chill.
Chill, yeah.
Like, you just take a fucking day to just relax.
Right.
Yeah. And she's only started to take it in now. She's like, yeah, there's just so much chaos in my brain all the time.
Right. That's right.
And she's like, I don't feel good.
You know? It really
she's like, as much as I love what I'm doing, I don't feel good just
it's
because.
Not healthy, yeah.
Yeah. She's like, I'm smoking cigarettes now. She's just like, it's just going downhill. So she had to run away to fucking the Dominican Republic, and I'm like, that's good.
Yeah,
you know, you got to do that.
Yeah,
that's right.
And like, just
take your
chill
physical
out
space,
and just what you got to do sometimes because, it's funny. It's like I'm the opposite. I know when I could chill.
Right. Yeah, I'm the same.
Carving out time.
I'm the same.
I don't give a fuck.
Bad,
I will go to bed late to chill.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
100%.
So it's just funny when I meet people that can't do that because I'm just like, how can you not like? But I get it too.
That's right. So much of that is like, the way you get brought up, the way that like you understand your like value, and like what. It's like obviously in a perfect world we all understand that like our value is inherent and there's nothing we have to prove. But for some people it's like for proving. For your friend, it sounds like it's just like thing that they learn from a young age because they had to look after more people than they thought they needed to. Right?
Yeah, they had to grow up faster.
Yeah,
exactly. There's like, you know, how we understand like what worth we bring to the table to our family, our responsibilities. There's so much, you know.
Yeah.
I met briefly with a therapist. He wasn't the greatest, but every once in a while he did like ask me some questions which I thought were interesting. And I was talking to him one day about being like, man, I feel like I can't do anything that I'm trying to put my mind to. Like at that time I was trying to rehab like an injury, and I was getting really frustrated about like not being consistent with doing these rehabilitation exercises and all sorts of stuff. Same thing. I needed to like find work at the time. I was just like, man, like what's going on? Like, how do I figure out, like, what do I need to do to figure out like what motivates me, or like, how do I get my discipline shit in order? And he just like posed like an interesting thought, which I'm curious to know if it's something you've ever thought about yourselves. But he basically had said that we can think about what motivates us, like we can think about it almost in a lot of different ways. It can be like these external things, it can be like something internal, but he was saying that like there's a difference between what motivates you and what drives you. And like understanding motivation as this like external thing and understanding drive as this like literal, this idea of like a fire burning within kind of deal. Like understanding what it is that drives you is almost like a key, and like really like doubling down on like what that thing is. And I was like, okay. It felt a bit abstract to kind of think about it that way, because I was like, I always thought those two things were synonymous.
Yeah. I'm still trying to like separate them in my head.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And like, because he's like, you can be motivated. Like motivation can also be like short term, right?
Yeah, exactly.
It can be like, I'm motivated. Like you said, it's like I'm motivated to like reach 90 days, because after 90 days I can be like, all right, fuck it, I hit 90 days. Or like, it can be money based. It can be these things where like a drive is almost, I guess he was arguing that like, it's this thing that is like consistent, like across the board.
It's innate, like it's inside. It's a part of you.
Exactly. And I was like, he asked me, he was just like, what do you think drives you?
Yeah.
And yeah, I was like, damn, man, like nothing is coming to mind. Like, do I have no drive? Like, is that the problem?
Maybe.
And he was like, it can be that. But he's like, it can also be things that you don't like. And as a result, you don't think about it as drive because you push it aside as like an ugly thing.
Exactly.
And
that's actually probably more powerful in most cases.
Exactly.
Yeah,
and then
push you away.
He said that to me, and I was like, oh man, like at that point I was like, oh fuck. In that case, I think I do know what drives me, and it's this thing that I like completely write off in my life as this terrible thing to like use as fuel. But it's like, it's when people like, when it's externally shown to me that people like doubt me. And like that doesn't happen a lot. But I know in like the few instances where it does happen, I'm like, nah, fuck that.
Yeah.
It is actually a drive. It's something that like, and like I said, it doesn't happen often. And it's not like, it's funny because at the same time, I'm like, okay, if that's what drives you and like, that like, that's something that really gets you riled up. Like, why don't you get riled up when like, people don't like reply back to your like job applications like that? You're not like, I'm gonna get them, like I'm gonna get a job and show these guys. Yeah, it's like when it's something that's like direct, and when I know that there's like when I know that someone knows that they're showing me a lack of doubt, which again happens very rarely, but when it does happen, I know that I'm like, okay, all right, I'll see you in 2 weeks, motherfucker.
Yeah.
That it's a weird thing, and it's not something I'm proud to say because I would love to be unflappable,
Yeah.
I would love to be that way, and I think I built so much of my persona as that. But at the same time, when I look about all these things that I want to be like disciplined about, stern about, I almost can't do those things by just being like, I'm chill, I'm not fazed by anything. I have to go like, I'm fucking annoyed by these rehab exercises and they suck and they take too much time. But whatever, fuck it, I'll do it, and I can be angry about it and be annoyed about it, and it's fine. And maybe tomorrow I'll feel better about it.
Just find someone to doubt you for all.
Basically.
It's a Michael Jordan strategy.
Right.
Like, this is when I watched The Last Dance. I don't remember if we talked about it on the podcast, but like one of the topics I wrote down was like, to achieve that level of greatness, do you need to be petty?
Yeah.
Do you need to make these games up?
Paranoid.
In your head? Yeah. Because
crazy,
somebody
right?
like Jordan, if he's not making up these things like this person's out to get me, or this person said I'm shit, or this person doesn't think I'm it, like he's not. Where's the motivation? And like, I mean, I don't know. Like, I think in terms of him being suspended for gambling versus him actually just wanting to leave and play baseball, I'm like 50-50 on.
Right.
I think it's like both. There's some combination of those two, but I feel like he got bored of winning, and I feel like he left and he came back because he needed to restart that myth again of like these people needed to doubt him,
Exactly, to be like, like they don't think I can come back.
Yeah
Here we go. It's so true. It's a really good point, and it's also worrisome because one, you're like, I'm not trying to lose my mind. First of all,
gaslighting yourself.
Yeah, literally. Right? Like, I think one of the times is like, I think it was like either Charles Barkley was just like, how's your mom doing? Like, I heard she was unwell. And he's like, oh, she's good. Thanks for asking. He's like, I went back into the locker room and I told myself, this motherfucker asked me about my mom. What the fuck? That's crazy. Like, he literally gaslit himself. That's insane. But it's so true. And like, you see that. And like, I think the thing is like, interestingly, we feel more impacted, or we take the side of what we hear from everyone else around him. You like all these teammates being like, "Yeah, Michael was a bit of an asshole."
Yeah.
Or like the same thing about Kobe. Like Jeremy
Yeah.
Lin, this guy's just like, "Yeah, you know, Kobe was. He has like,
Yeah.
it's like he clearly was like traumatized by
Yeah.
this guy."
Yeah.
But as you said, it's like they didn't reach that point without losing a little bit of their mind.
Yeah.
And that's a scary thing.
That's a
That's a scary thing to harness and
Yeah.
to think deeply about. But anyways, I mean, yeah, that whole drive versus motivation question was a really big one, and
that's
something
I think we
something to
were
ponder.
talking about that last week without using those words. It was just like,
Word.
where does the motivation come, or like where does that self motivation come from? Is what we
Right.
were trying to talk about.
Right.
It's like how do you get yourself riled up, on demand, or at least know that it's there and it's consistent. Because that's the thing for me is like I find that motivation comes from when we have a project, when there's something that somebody else is expecting
There's a
work from
deadline.
us to get. Yeah, it's like sure I'll get this shit in, but it's like if I gotta set that for myself, it's like,
Self-appointed
well,
deadline. What's
yeah.
that?
What is that? That doesn't mean that's an
death.
oxymoron.
That's
yeah.
literally once my heart
Yeah.
stops beating. You know,
Yeah.
like,
When I hear the word drive, like I'm also thinking about like, okay, is this thing I'm doing like fitting with my values
Mhm.
and like what maybe my purpose is?
it's great. It's a great point.
And that's
Yeah.
a hard question to answer, even like what is my purpose or my values. But like there are things that I think are my values and like things that I really enjoy doing. But then another element of that is like, what if the things that drive you don't make you any money?
Yeah, yeah.
Like,
That's a
what-
huge thing.
What
Yeah,
the hell do you do?
Exactly.
you could have all this drive, but then it's like, if there's no motivation to do it because it's not coming from money. Yeah,
Yeah.
Exactly.
yeah,
Exactly.
I hate to do that whole money thing, but you have to,
yeah.
Yeah.
especially when you're older. And that's what we were talking about all this shit last week. But it's just like when we were younger, it was like it didn't fucking matter.
Yeah.
So I felt like I had all the drive in the world.
Yeah.
Right?
And then real life starts hitting you, and you're like, shit, bills.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Or even
cool.
just like
Da-da-da.
the conversation about having friends when you're older and stuff. You got to start paying to have friends eventually, right?
Yeah,
like,
man.
you can't really just chill,
Yeah,
like
it's
even coming here, the difference between you walking door versus you paying for gas or you
Yeah, exactly.
spending
Wow, yeah.
the fare,
Transit, yeah.
it's the time that, and then when you're older too, you start thinking about like, oh, this is going to take me 30 minutes or an hour to get here. You start thinking about time in terms
Time
of money
budgeting.
too, right? Like you have an hourly wage, you know how much that's worth to you, like how
Yeah.
long that shit takes,
I hate
Yeah.
Sorry to go off topic a little bit. But
No.
I hate those ones where it's just like you go. It's like you go out to grab food.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, shit, I worked 2 hours.
Yeah.
Or
Exactly.
you're ordering Uber Eats or something,
Oh.
and I'm like, fuck, this is 30 something
Yeah.
dollars.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Exactly. Man.
It just sucks because you're just like, damn. That's how I have to look at life
Yeah.
now. It's just
Yeah.
I have to break
you
it down.
you update your website renewal and you're like, damn, that was a month of
Yeah,
this is my
yeah.
salary. Like,
Yeah, man.
Gone.
When that annual subscription
Yeah.
hits the credit card, and you're like,
Oh.
whoa.
Oh, horrible.
Where'd that come from? That's the
And you
worst.
forgot about it, yeah. Because you've been chilling all
Yeah.
year. You're fine.
Exactly.
That's happened to me so many times.
Exactly.
I'm like, yo, who took this money out? I'm like, I needed that. It's so tough, man.
Oh my
It's so
gosh.
tough.
Do you think you could like figure out what your purpose is if you had to?
Yes, and it goes back to holding myself back. It's like I want to. I just understand as well how much time I'm gonna need to put into it, and it's like, can I afford
Yeah.
Right.
to put that time into
Yeah.
it?
Yeah.
And it sucks because I'm like, I should be able to, but I start thinking about other things. It's like, I don't live alone. I live with my girlfriend.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like I'm also taking care of her and
Yep.
whatever else is going on with her, right?
Yep.
I have another person to consider.
That's right.
Yeah.
It's not just me. I've even told her this, and it's a horrible thing to say sometimes, but it's like if I was single, shit would be different.
yeah,
For sure.
Yeah,
You know what I
For
mean?
sure.
If I was single, shit would be completely different because I wouldn't give a fuck.
Right.
I'd
Right.
be out late doing whatever I got to do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
And
Your
there would
commitments
be
look
there would be some inconsistencies. I'd be lazy, of course, at times,
Mhm.
but I feel like my drive would be a bit different.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And the thing too is
Yeah.
like it adds a different bit of drive too when you're in a relationship, right?
Yeah,
It's like
totally.
it's 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 not like lesser or more. It's just different types
That's
of
right.
Mm-hmm.
motivation
Yeah,
and drive.
and it's
right?
like the things I would be doing is different too.
yeah,
I don't know. I'd be taking a lot more risks.
Yeah.
Just because.
Yeah,
That's
true.
right.
See, it's like it's like if you're single, you can take all the risks in the world. If you have a partner, if you have kids, then you gotta. And this is another conversation that we had last week, where it's like if we had that thing
Right.
that like pushed you over the edge,
Right.
it feels like that happens a lot
That
sometimes
moment.
too, where it's like somebody's like, okay, I gotta buckle down
Totally.
and just hone in on whatever it is that's like the opportunity here. Just like get straight to it, you know. And I feel like a lot of that too is like, you know, you have drive, but the drive is, and it comes back to what we've been talking about, is like the drive is that you want to do everything, you know.
Yeah.
And even trying to figure out where do I begin.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You know?
Yeah. I think you can be driven by the pursuit of something. You know, it's like you don't actually have like an end goal as much as it is like you're driven by the curiosity, right?
Yeah.
Curiosity can be a drive for sure.
Yeah.
right?
For sure.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's what kind of relates more to me.
Yeah.
It's I have the drive to make whatever this is happen.
Mm.
You know?
Yeah.
I want to make sure that me and my boys are up doing our thing within the community that we care about,
For sure.
and being able to live off of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
I don't know what I fully want to do myself, but it's making sure that if I could help Kevin, Sampreeth, whoever,
Yeah.
even you guys in
Yeah.
the future, then I'm like, okay, cool. I did something.
Yeah.
For sure.
You know
man.
what I mean?
There's a fulfillment that comes from
Yeah.
that.
I'd rather be. I've noticed I prefer to play the support role. I don't need to be
Yeah.
a fucking star. I don't need
Yeah,
to be
yeah,
in
yeah.
front. I'd rather play a support role in making sure that everybody wins,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
rather than trying to take everything on myself.
For sure.
You know,
Yeah.
because that's just I've tried to do that, and it just puts a lot of pressure on you, and then you start getting angry at people for no fucking reason.
It's unsustainable, man.
You're yelling at people, and they're just like, "Yo, are you good? Like,
Yeah.
where is this coming from?" But it's
That's right.
because I was at home thinking, "Yo, how can we make this better? What can I do?"
Yeah.
Da, 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 da.
Yeah.
And you put a lot of pressure on yourself when isn't necessarily needed.
It's not needed. That's right.
Yeah.
There's power in the collective. It's how you, allow for sustainability, to allow yourself both room to be like a caregiver and someone who receives care as well,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
You need that kind of connectedness.
It just adds a little bit of drive to when you just have somebody else that's like depending on you, but also like
Yep.
supporting you. It's just, it's mutual. It's just mutually beneficial.
It's
right?
mutually beneficial. It allows for like give and take. It allows for people's strengths and weaknesses to like coexist when there's balance, right?
Yeah.
All of those things for sure are so necessary. Do you feel like in the work that you do, particularly given that you collaborate so much with friends, there is like, was there ever a point where it felt hard to, like, do you feel like there was a turning point where all of you or maybe some of you kind of realized like, all right, like we got to talk about more than just the creative work. Like we got to talk about what's going on in our lives so that we can actually like level the playing field here to be like, yo, I'm like unemployed and I got to find work and that's kind of fucking up my flow, or like, yo, I'm depressed, or
Yeah.
yo, there's family shit at home has got me like kind of fucked up.
Yeah.
And like was there ever that kind of point where like it kind of opened up where you realized it was a necessity, or do you feel like because you've all been boys and friends for such a long time, it almost was maybe unspoken because you're like, I know so much of what's going on in your life that like it doesn't have to necessarily be this thing that's addressed up
Yeah.
front.
Yeah. I think it's a mix.
It's a little bit of both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
I think when it's like, you know, when it's something new that as you just by nature of getting older, there are things that you experience that you wouldn't have experienced when
course.
you're younger. So it's like when those things come up, it's like, okay, yeah, sure, you know, there might need to be addressing it. But then there's also like, yeah, just by virtue of knowing each other for so long.
Right.
And like, I think in terms of like, it's a weird thing because like when I think about like our workflow, it's very much related to how we played video games and shit like that growing
Oh.
up, right? You know, like in terms of the cooperation and just being able
Right,
to
right,
like,
right.
it's like acknowledging each other's skills without having to like necessarily map it out beforehand all
Sure.
the time. You can kind of just jump into something and kind of get a sense of like where everybody fits in.
Yeah.
But then same thing, like when there's a new thing that gets presented, you got to kind of understand where people's skills
lie,
everybody's
right.
growing, so it's kind of like, does somebody want to try something new or
That's
take on a
right.
new
Also,
interest,
like
you know?
have that room for that growth.
Yeah.
Right?
I would say, also a mix a little bit. It's like, just having understanding of everybody, kind of what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like we we have had conversations, just not enough.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Just not enough.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's because we kind of just feel like, oh, we know what's going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I always feel like it's good to come together and just have like a reset. Kind of be like, okay, this is what's going on. We kind of did a while back.
Yeah,
with
last
Sam
summer.
Preeth,
Yeah.
right? We did with Sam Preeth. We went out and we just all had a conversation. Whoever could make it, obviously.
Yeah.
We just had a conversation about what the fuck is going on.
Yeah.
You know.
That's great.
Yeah,
and
that's
just
really
okay,
good.
what can we all kind of do to progress this a little by little?
Yep.
You know, because like for example, Sam Preeth is busy as fuck. He's doing doctor shit.
He's a doctor, man. Goddamn.
He's doing doctor stuff. So it's like we can't always go to him.
Yep.
You know, because we understand that his life is just busy and it's going to be busy for the next like 3-5 years.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know, at least.
Yep.
But he said, I'm going to be busy for the next 3-5 years. And then after that, I got you.
Right.
You know,
Right.
which is like, it sucks to hear, but it makes sense because it's like he has his own life, you know?
Right.
He has his own career and stuff that he's worked on
Mm-hmm.
all this time. A lot of money's been invested into him to be able to get to this point.
Totally.
So who am I to say, yo, we need you for an art project?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
I need you for this YouTube video, bro. Like, I'm not gonna stress you out about that shit.
Right.
You know?
And arguably, you could argue that it would probably be more painful if that conversation never happened and it was like, yeah, I got you, and then he doesn't show up on the day.
Yeah.
Or
exactly.
there's no follow through
Exactly.
because there was no honest response or like honesty around like whether he could do it or not, right?
Mhm.
No, that's. I mean, the fact that you even all just kind of sat down and were like, "What's going on?" You know,
That's crazy.
that's great
Yeah.
to do. Seriously,
Nah, we need to do it more.
For sure.
I want to definitely do it again soon because we had that conversation. We were like, okay, what are we doing? And then things were changing. We slowed down a bit during the winter, obviously.
Yeah.
But now it's coming back. Weather's getting good again.
for sure.
Podcast is back up.
That's right.
You know what I mean? And it's like, okay, cool. Like, me and Kevin have kind of taken the steps since everybody else is busy
Yeah.
to kind of
Keep things going.
keep things going because I don't want to say you can't rely on everybody, but it's just like we gotta understand that everybody's just in different positions right now.
That's right.
So if mans are free,
Yeah.
like
That's a free pull up.
we gotta make something happen. Like
Yeah.
even with the podcast, it's to the point now where I want to do the podcast so bad. It's like I don't care if Kevin can't make it. I'll do it online at home.
Right.
I'll just do a random stream and just talk by myself because I can do that.
Mm-hmm.
No.
Pull up Omegle, you know, just
Whatever.
in the
Yeah.
chat.
Yeah. Try to pull some girls on Omegle or something. I'll do something, you know?
Yeah.
But it's like I have committed to making sure that from now on, we are doing this podcast once a week,
Right.
no matter who's able to arrive. If I
Yeah.
can't make it, I expect somebody to do it,
Yeah.
you know? And I shouldn't even need to say anything.
That's
really.
right. There's that
Right.
backup.
If Kevin's here, just, I don't know what the fuck you're going to talk about, bro, but just...
I'm here talking to myself in
Exactly.
my head.
You're doing it
you know?
anyways. So it's just
Yeah.
like, you go ahead and you do that for a bit and make it
Yeah.
an hour long and you're cool, you know? And
I did. So we used to do a radio show at UTSC,
Right.
Whoa.
and
Yeah.
I did it by myself once. That was the weirdest thing that I've ever
Oh, yeah?
experienced. Yeah, because you're on air.
Right,
Technically,
right.
It was whatever fusionradio.ca.
Yeah. I wish that was still a thing, man.
Yeah.
It's so sad.
And it was just it's just really weird because you're like, people could be listening, but nobody's probably listening, so I'm just
Right.
talking to myself
And
right
you're
now.
also in the room by yourself.
Yeah,
too.
yeah,
Just, yeah, man.
Did you both go to UTSC?
No.
Okay.
No.
How'd you get in the radio thing?
Just because they went.
That's
True,
sick.
man.
Yeah.
Because they went, so they're just like, yo, you could pull up.
That's sweet.
And I actually,
That's
by
it.
the time we got the show, I wasn't at UTSC
Yeah, I was
anymore.
going to say, I don't think he was actually technically
Yeah.
there
Yeah,
anymore.
Just like, how the heck do you get on that radio station? But they don't even have it anymore.
Yeah.
They don't.
I
They
literally I just emailed them. It was very easy at that time. You
That's
just submit with a
hilarious.
show.
Yeah,
Yeah.
man.
They're just like, just don't get too wild.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really?
They're like, yeah, here you go.
Community radio is really sick for that. It's just like that in I went to school out in Peterborough, and there was a local community radio station out
yeah.
there.
I was going to say,
And-
one of my profs from Centennial,
Right.
he has a radio station in Peterborough. I can't
Oh,
remember
word.
what the fuck the name is, though. but-
True.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, no. And like, yeah, like he was a bit controversial, the guy who ran it. and I guess the reason why is because he was just like, you know, like, yeah, this is like, I guess he was like, his argument was always kind of like upholding the free speech thing, but I think more so than that, like, he was also like, yeah, if like literally the only bare minimum is like no hate speech, you know what I mean? Like that's just like bare minimum, but like they had wild stuff on there, man. They had like fan fiction, like radio dramas. So like you'll just like turn it on and like you got like Superman and like getting freaky like on air, kind of like there's someone just like talking like very like on some sexual ASMR stuff, but they're like
That's
Clark
crazy.
Kent, and like the next hour you have like an all death metal show, and then like you'll have bare variety shows, and like it's incredible for that reason that community radio allows for that.
Yeah.
You know? And so I only learned about it maybe like a year ago, and at that point I'd reached out to be like, yo, I would love to do a show, and they're like, sorry man, we don't do this anymore.
Damn.
Scarborough
Which is a
have
shame.
Community radio.
Here
I,
we
you know,
go.
I was doing
Let's
a
get
I
look.
don't think so.
You know, this is
Might have to.
it's actually a dream. Yeah, man. Like Radio Free Roscoe.
Wow,
Roscoe
I love
days,
that show,
man.
bro.
Yeah.
I
Such a good
love-
show.
And Radioactive.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
on YTV,
yeah. Like that's just again, it
Great
just
show.
goes back to just the basic shit from childhood
Yeah.
that you
Yes,
wanted to
man,
do.
yes.
Yeah.
And it's like we wanna make sure we do something here, not just in the city, but in Scarborough, especially just making sure that we can set up something
100%.
for artists
Yeah.
to do stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
Yeah.
what like we were talking about.
See, that's the problem. Is the baseline is so low here that it sounds
Yeah.
stupid to say it like that, but it's like we want opportunities, like not
Yeah.
better opportunities, just opportunities
Yes,
in
man.
general that we didn't have. You
Yes,
know?
man. Like I
Exactly.
feel like there's so many like talented musicians that I knew
Yeah.
in like high school who just like they just had to give up on this
Yeah.
shit because like
Yeah.
Yeah.
where are they gonna go?
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
can't like go downtown. They can't. Man, it's sad.
Yeah, I just want a safe space just for people to come through. We were talking about it again last week.
Mm.
Have you guys ever heard? You know who Just John is?
Yeah.
And what was it? Blank Canvas.
Yes,
Yep.
I used to go there.
Same.
Oh,
what I mean?
shoot.
Yeah, I used to
Okay,
pull up
that's
to those
crazy.
all the time. I'm
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I wish we had one out here.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know, something like that. Just,
Yeah.
Just making that happen and he did his weekly. I'm pretty sure he did it like
Yes,
every
man.
week.
Yeah.
Oh,
And it
wow.
was like if they didn't have art to show, it was just a party. You just come through, you hang out,
Yeah.
Damn.
and it was just a good
Ciphers.
time. Yeah, it was just a good time. It's just people coming together and just doing stuff together and hanging out. And it was a great way to just network,
Right.
meet different people that you might not know, people from downtown, West End, wherever, because they all just fucked with each other and just came to one location.
That's right.
You know, and yeah, I feel like just missing. That's just missing in the city, but
Yeah.
especially over here.
Yeah.
Because we have
Yeah,
way too much shit going on here that just people just don't
That's
know
right.
about.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
right.
We've been
It's
saying this. my
it's
whole
so
life.
true.
Yeah.
and yeah, it's just it's funny because it's like we can think of like the list of like questions that aren't necessarily asked when it's like something that's based more central or like even like Parkdale or whatever. Like the number one question that will always come to mind when I'm thinking about like, so I live in Pickering, and anytime I think about doing something in Pickering, like my first question is like, if you don't have a car, can you get here?
Yeah.
If you don't have
Yeah.
a bike, can you get here?
Yeah.
And 9 times out of 10, the answer is no.
Yeah.
You know, and so as a result, it's like already out the fucking window.
Yeah.
And I don't say this to be a Debbie Downer by any means, but it's frustrating as well,
Yeah.
right? When it's just like,
Because that's
oh,
mostly true for Scarborough as well.
Yeah,
Like,
people don't even come to Scarborough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They
exactly.
don't go past.
I wouldn't trust people to come to
Victoria
like
Park.
Kennedy State. Yeah, exactly. Like I wouldn't trust people to get to Kennedy. You know,
Exactly.
like
Yeah.
Exactly. And at that point, it's just like, oh man, like, it's like it makes me mad. Like I get upset thinking about like the question, that follow-up question, which is like, could I convince someone that what I'm doing or what we're doing is special enough to like get to Kennedy and then hop on a bus,
yeah,
and then maybe hop on one more bus,
Yeah.
you know?
yeah,
And then walk for 12 minutes.
Exactly. And it's just like, I'm upset by that because it's like, one, I want the like my answer unequivocally in my head to be like, yeah, absolutely, this shit
Yeah.
is sick.
yeah,
And it is, and it's like it should be inherent,
yeah.
but like we know that people don't operate that way, you know, and
Well,
that's
also,
like a
we don't
frustrating
need-
thing.
Why do we need the people to come all the way?
No,
to
fair
Kennedy?
point.
Go away.
Fair,
Yeah,
fair
yeah,
enough.
no,
Yeah.
I agree.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
I
Good
agree.
point.
I agree. It's like you don't need you.
Good point.
I
Good
want to
point.
create this for these people here.
Yeah, yeah. That's
that-
the other thing. Yeah.
Because they're already here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great point.
You know?
Great point.
It's some again, it's like I like what Rise is kind of
Yeah,
built.
Rise was amazing.
You know?
Yeah.
Because I've always known about Rise. I've never actually gone to any of the things.
Yeah,
But I've always just known, and I've been like, and I see what they're doing, and it's crazy because I see people that, like, I've met that I love. They're like, yeah, we're going to Rise next week. Da, 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 da. And I'm like, oh shit, say word. I still need to pull up to one of those.
Yeah, yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, I just want something like that on a bigger scale with a space, hopefully permanent.
Yeah.
That's right.
You know,
Yeah.
that's just
Ideally
no.
permanent. Yeah.
The parking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What'd you say?
With parking.
With with parking.
And like some sort of TTC access or something.
Yeah,
You know,
something,
but it's just like
yeah.
where,
Yeah.
what would the location be?
Yeah.
I don't know if I want to be right by Scarborough Town.
Yeah.
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 You know?
Yeah.
I
All
don't
these
know.
like warehouses over here.
Yeah.
The industrial buildings. But I don't know. No one wants to come out here.
Yeah, like Y Plus
Exactly.
had their setup here, you know,
That's
and
right.
I mean, I don't know, like I don't know what their traction was in terms of like the Scarborough community or like just the arts
Yeah,
community
man.
in general. I only went to like one party, but
Yeah,
And then
man.
that's another fear I have where it's like, maybe you do this and like nobody actually wants to come
yeah,
around here.
yeah,
And I'm like, ugh.
Yeah, I should backtrack a little bit and say I realize I made the case about the transit, and you're right. Fuck them kids, like if they're coming from the city. But no, I mean obviously I, said
no,
it
of
jest,
course,
but like
yeah, we're
ideally
inclusive.
it's like yeah, when you're thinking about yes, we are inclusive, we're Parkdale inclusive, man. But no, I think like when it does come to like your own like neighborhood, you know, like I feel like we were talking about this yesterday. With a couple of our friends, where like we were talking about this idea of like taste, right? And like when you do something and like showcase your taste, a lot of times like it's hard not to tie that back to like class distinctions, right? And like think about how like you may like something because you had access to
yeah,
it, right?
yeah,
like
yeah.
I mean like very classic, like you know, colloquial examples is like, okay, you know about classical music or jazz music because you went to a school where like they played that shit,
Yeah.
or like you got to learn about the theory or the history or whatever.
You played
Or,
golf as a kid.
You
or
played
something.
golf as
Yeah.
a kid, like
yeah.
whatever it is.
Yeah.
It could be tied to art. It could be tied to a bunch of different things.
Yeah,
Where like, sure there may be those distinctions, but that doesn't mean that like someone who didn't have access to it wouldn't enjoy it. There may be just like a barrier there, or more importantly than that, there just may not be the language to be able to speak about it eloquently. But it could still be inspiring something. It could still be playing a big part in like your life, right? And so to your point, like that definitely becomes this additional challenge where it's just like you can think about and brainstorm as like a super collective or like a massive group of people and conceptualize and think about like why this would be like so sick and so special. But like the real challenge is like, how do you convey that without actually conveying anything to someone? Like, how do you do that through like your poster? How do you do
Yeah.
that through like the sign that you have at your front door where like someone can just see it and be like, at the very least, I like, oh, this seems like it's up my alley, or this seems like a comfortable kind of thing,
Yeah.
you know?
because
I'm
once you
like-
get them there, then it's fine. You won.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But it's the actually getting them
Yeah,
there.
that's
you know?
right. Because
Yeah.
you like we've talked about this all day. Like you don't, to some degree, you need to verbalize it. And
Yeah.
it can just
Yeah.
be like, we
Yeah.
need more art spaces. We need more places to just do fun shit.
yeah.
And it could be as simple as that, you know. But at the same time, it's like, does everyone? Yeah. How do you and like to some people who may not, because I'm sure if like you popped on your soapbox and like you shouted this at the top of your lungs at STC, at least 100 people will be like, yes, thank you, I'm
Yeah.
feeling that.
Yeah.
But there's at least like another 800 people who like maybe haven't even thought about how that might impact their life.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I feel like these guys did it with like this, like the
Yeah,
way you describe
absolutely.
making it and like trying to not think about who's gonna like it. Like
Yeah.
make this
a
accessible,
very good point.
Yeah.
but still something true to yourself.
Yeah, but that's not something we even figured out until, like I said it, like we set it up the night before, and I finally saw, because we didn't know what it looked like until
Crazy.
the night before,
Right,
you
right,
know?
right.
And
That's what
when
I
we
said.
saw it, I'm like, oh, okay, now I get it, because in your head you're like, this isn't enough. It's too simple. It's too. People are gonna say this is too basic.
Right.
Why is this? How did this get accepted at Nuit Blanche? You know, there's not enough effort. You
Yeah,
know, like
yeah,
all this
yeah.
shit. And then you finally see, it and it's like, no, the simplicity is it. You know, like, and it's not simple.
It's not simple at all.
It's
not
not. Yeah.
simplistic.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's simple because we've been living inside of that world for so many for years
Yeah,
now, right?
yeah.
Like the context, and the other part of it too is like, and I think this conversation we're having applies to like digital space as much as it does to like physical space too. It's
100%.
the same question of like, how do I get this person to my event in Scarborough is the same question I have of like, how do I get this person to listen to my project or my song, and not just like
my website,
not just like listen to it like, oh, he put the link, I'm gonna go on the link and listen to it for 5 seconds on my phone. How do I get them to like listen you know, like sit,
absorb it,
and I don't mean like you need to sit down and like, you know,
like the incense.
yeah, like the, you know, get your mood, get your flow state, but like actually listen, you know.
Yeah.
You can listen off your phone. I've listened to phone songs off the phone and I'm in it, you know, like doesn't matter the quality of the speaker, but like it's the minds, yeah, exactly, the being able to actually listen to something without, I feel like so much of music today is focused on being a distraction or a background, you know.
Lo-fi
Background
beats
fodder.
to work too.
Yeah.
I mean, shout out, those beats are sick, but
It's a weird compliment when if somebody were to say like, oh man, I love listening to your music when I'm studying or sleeping,
Right. Oh my god.
or when I'm just, you know, when I just come home and I just want to not think about anything and just, you know, like just have my mind turn off.
Your music makes me numb.
Yeah,
man. I really
your music is like
appreciate it.
Candy Crush, you know, like.
Oh my gosh, yeah, that would.
Someone said that to you?
I hope
In
not.
so, in not in that many, but like, you know, I love to like relax to your music, and I get that because I like, that's my favorite type of music too, where it's
Right.
like if I can just like put the earphones in and just like, you know, and I'm not even listening, it's just kind of like white noise almost, you know.
Yeah, I get you.
That's fine, but also you kind of, you want that, it's the same thing where it's like with same thing as our project is you want people to be able to experience it deeply if they want, but you also want that casual, you know, but you also want that casual like background experience to be like, you know, when you're listening to like the lo-fi playlist and then you just, you know, there's like a lull in the conversation or something and you're like, yo, this shit's hard.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what you want too, right?
That's right. Moments of pause.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. That's right. Who knows? Maybe the way to maybe we just have to try one time and
I feel
fail.
like you just gotta do it and
Just has
figure
to
it out.
fail.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
We have to fail, but if there's like enough of us and we fail together, it's like we'll go out for pizza afterwards.
Yeah,
It'll be okay.
yeah,
Where it's
yeah,
like
yeah.
when it's just you and your maybe like 2 or 3 other people, it can feel a bit more demoralizing because it's tired. You're tired, and there's less of you doing more work.
Yeah.
But there was enough of us. And
So,
it's,
you know, the other day I was at
knows?
some restaurant and I saw like this hockey team,
oh yeah,
and I was just trying to figure out like, did they lose or did they win just by
Right.
their like demeanor.
right.
And I'm like, you're like, yo, you know, when it's not about the win or the loss at that point. It's just like that, the meal and the
Wow.
families together.
That's
and
fucking
like,
poetry,
you know,
man. That's it. That's it.
that's the same thing. Like, as you said, you know, it's so hard. Imagine having to fail by yourself and eat, you know, go to yourself and sit in that misery by yourself as
Exactly.
opposed to being in a. There's this grant that we applied for
Sick.
from Artreach
Okay.
way back 2015,
Classic.
and our idea was we wanted to create this like AR. What was the idea? It was the same.
Some bullshit.
Yeah, it was some bullshit. We wanted $5,000. That was the idea.
But we
didn't
with
say
some
that.
amazing bullshit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because
We really put some
Sampri
time
was
into
working with like AR a little bit at the
Okay.
when he was like interning at the hospital. So we made these business cards and
Sick.
we did this AR and we made this app where like when you you know, put the phone to the business card, like a music video plays.
Insane.
There was some
Yeah.
ridiculous
Yo, in
shit.
2015, that's
Yeah.
And then it was like
really
on your
wild.
business card, so you like show it. It was crazy, man.
Yeah.
It was
So
crazy
cool.
shit. Because it was just like, yeah, this is years ago, and this is happening now.
That's
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's wild.
But,
So
sorry, go ahead.
yeah, so we lost, and basically the judges said that it, like, the main thing that it came down to was it seemed like even if you didn't get the money, you guys would be good. So we lost because it was like you guys seem safe, you
Fuck,
know?
I hate that.
And that was and that has haunted me ever since.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy, man.
And I've heard that another couple times since.
Yeah.
Where it's like,
You
nah,
don't
you
need
didn't
the
get
money.
this because you're gonna be fine.
That's right.
You're gonna be good. Don't worry.
That's right, man.
But
That's
I'm like,
no, I'm not good.
that's right.
Yeah.
Why would I have done this?
why would I have put all this time into
Yeah.
this shit
Exactly.
just for fun?
$5,000, which
Five-
when at the time it was a lot for us.
Of course.
Now it's still a lot for us,
Still.
but like it's obviously like now when you think about a $5,000 grant, it's like whatever.
Yeah.
But we literally all we were trying to do was just get some money at that time, you know, like
They're implying that do this for free. Is
yeah,
that what they're
yeah,
saying?
yeah.
You know?
I don't know.
That's
I don't
crazy.
even know.
Well, oh man, don't get me started. There's like a few things to say. One, this is the trap that like anyone emerging / like who hasn't historically been able to like get these like opportunities kind of find themselves in.
Huh.
But like this is also like and this is something that, if I'm not mistaken, like the panel that you spoke on for the Scarborough Arts Symposium, like this is something that was brought up, which is like, basically, we've like conditioned ourselves by way of like scarcity, lack of resource, whatever it is, and maybe also just like being brought up the ways that we have.
Yeah.
We're like, we do go above and beyond to make something excellent that we're like proud of, but that doesn't, one, like just because you reach that point, which is still an incredible feat, that doesn't mean that like you shouldn't have a desire to go further, or to like be limited by that, right? But as a result, it's like that's like your pitfall. Your pitfall is that you fucking worked too hard.
Yeah.
Which is bullshit.
Yeah.
Because it's
Yeah.
like,
Shit, bro.
it's absolute bullshit.
You
We-
overestimated your value for the time and the money that was offered,
Exactly.
or something like
the way
that. You know.
the way we did this thing, it felt like a fucking Apple event.
Right.
Yeah.
I
yeah,
believe.
yeah,
I swear to
This
God.
guy pulled
If
up
I
in
could
the
pull
black
up the
turtleneck
pictures-
Yeah,
and
we
the
had to
acid
pull up
wash
the
jeans.
pictures, yeah,
Bro,
that's
we
hilarious.
got matching shirts
Wow,
with our
man.
logo on it. Spending money we didn't need to spend.
Yeah,
Crazy.
yeah.
Got all these business cards to demonstrate and all this shit.
Yeah.
We memorized our whole presentation. We're feeling good. We're nervous. We're
Yeah.
like, oh, hopefully we could do this. But we're confident at
Yeah.
the same time. We're like, yo, we've been working on this for a couple
So
weeks.
and another
It was
thing,
good.
so the event where we had to like present was
oh yeah,
at the,
that was the worst part.
go to Kipling and then take the bus all the way down to the
Wow.
lake. So it was at the edge of
It's like
the
world.
opposite end of the world.
Yes,
for us. And we
literally.
took the fucking
Took your
streetcar.
passport. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Oh,
So
but-
on the way there, we took the Queen streetcar because we had to like stop to get we had to get the business cards from my
So
brother
long.
because
Oh
we
my gosh.
left the day before, we like left it at his place because we wanted to pitch to him as like a practice and like
my
bro, we put in the
Yeah.
work.
so that's like like an hour and a half ride, and we're feeling it was a nice day.
Beautiful day.
So, but then imagine having to come back
After
on the
that.
fucking
That's why
subway.
you're exactly. What you're talking about is that we had that exact same
Yeah.
thing, and it was only 3 of us. It wasn't
Yeah.
a bunch of people. Which is, even the best part was a bunch of our friends were like, yeah, we'll be there.
Yeah. And I'm not,
Dickheads.
you know what sucks is
Come on,
the
man.
year before the event was at Scarborough Town.
Wow.
And then this year it was that thing, and it's like, yeah, I'm not gonna be mad at anybody for not fucking coming
Yeah.
to Kipling and
Exactly.
Lakeshore,
so
you
I
know?
wasn't mad, but it was just
Yeah.
like, damn, I could have at least got
Yeah.
the ride back.
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, man.
But it's just like
we could have had some people cheering for us. That might have
Something.
added that extra little, whatever.
Just and to do all that stuff and go up and present, right? And we kill it, right? People are like, "Yo, that's crazy! Yo, what the fuck?" Da, 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 da.
Right.
And then we come and we're watching the other presentations. Cue cards,
Right.
Yeah.
regular fits, dusty fits, bro, dusty fits. Like, yo, you just decided to come here today. to do
Nobody's
this.
matching.
Yeah,
Nobody's
not
matching.
even. It's not even about the matching. You're not even like you didn't even put on a good outfit. today,
Yeah.
you know what I mean.
Oh
Like you
my
just
gosh.
showed up to this with your cue cards and you're standing, you're nervous, fucking up and fumbling. And I'm like, yo,
It just
Come
took me
on.
back to the days
I
of
was
like,
Steve Jobs.
you know,
Yeah.
when you were like, you got really. Sometimes we would get really invested in like those stupid little skits we had to do for like
Yeah,
history
man.
projects
Oh,
and
yeah,
stuff.
yeah,
We would make
that's
videos like because that was like the only time we had to do something
Totally.
creative. So
Totally.
we'd be like busting our ass the night before, editing, spend a whole 8 hours just for like a 0.5% assignment.
Exactly.
And then you would see the people come after us, and they're rehearsing outside because they wrote the script at lunch, and
Yeah.
they're bringing the whole script into
My
the
God.
thing, and then the difference in marks is like they get a C+ and you get like an A- or something, you know? And it's like, what the fuck was the point of all that?
Yeah.
It's bullshit, and like that's like it's a trap because, and like this is partially, I mean, like this is like it's not really a theory, I guess it is kind of a theory, but this is where unfortunately many people, racialized people of like marginalized communities have to lean in
Into that shit.
into those identity
Yeah.
politic barriers, right? To be like, it's like I'm looking for this opportunity because by way of
Look at
these
that.
intersections.
Is that a
Oh
TED
my
Talk or is that a
God.
$5,000 grant?
That's insane.
These guys are looking down.
That's
Let
crazy.
him talk. That's
When
crazy.
we had that all choreographed.
had
Yo,
it
when
all.
the person's in the spotlight, the other two people are just
Step back.
Yeah, step back.
Yeah, we did it all.
Man, that makes me so sad, you know?
yeah,
'Cause
man.
It's like,
No, it was just defeat. I mean, just that long ride home, and we just barely spoke.
yeah, understandably,
We're
man.
just like,
just every once in a while, just like I'd laugh or I'd just get pissed.
yeah.
Or I'd just be
And it
like,
was just-
wait, what just happened? Like,
It was just those random chuckles where you're just like, yo, that was fun.
yeah.
Yeah, man. And like as a result, you end up getting into this rut where it's just like, yeah, I'm pretty sure it may have been Vasuki, may have been someone on the panel who was like, you have to straddle this line to
Yeah.
be like, we're sick and we got this and we have
Yeah,
like the mind power and the creative ability, but that doesn't mean that we don't
Nothing's
need this
guaranteed.
money.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
That doesn't mean that
Exactly.
we don't need a step up, that we don't need this money to like push even further.
Yeah.
And that's like shitty that you even have to straddle that, because
Well, like
there's-
pretend like you're fucking
it's like
out of luck and shit.
it's not even that, but as in like you have to prove your competence, but you also have to prove your neediness,
You're worthy. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And I feel like that's what was lacking.
Yeah.
which is
That was
shit.
lacking. We
Right.
came there to win.
Exactly.
We came there as winners.
Yeah.
That's right.
So it was like we didn't need to present ourselves as these people of color. And
Yeah.
Right.
we're from Scarborough.
Right.
Growing
Yeah.
up, the child, yeah.
That's right.
No, we came here to show you what the
We
fuck
had 5
can
minutes,
do.
so
Right.
we packed that shit with what bullshit we came up with that we could do. You know,
Yeah.
we don't have time to be sob storying about
Right,
like where we
right,
come
right.
from and stuff. You
Yeah,
know,
yo, I'm here to show you what we can do.
Yeah.
So you're like, no, these guys can handle
Yeah.
this money.
Right.
You know?
yeah,
Not.
Treat it like a dragon's den.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Really, yeah. But
That's
apparently
completely
that was
fair.
wrong. That was incorrect.
yeah.
And,
That's
that's
whack. That's so.
and I don't like leaning into those things all the time. But sadly,
It's part of the culture
part of the
now.
fucking
part of the
game,
Canadian
unfortunately,
arts
now,
landscape.
which
Yeah.
I hate.
Yeah.
It's something I
The,
don't like at all.
What do you call it? Like the pity like the pity
Identity
Olympics.
politics,
Yeah,
identity
yeah,
politics.
yeah.
The whole
Oppression Olympics.
equality,
Yeah, the
equity,
oppression Olympics. That's what it is.
Equity bullshit.
Yeah.
Trying to make everybody included, making sure that you diversify stuff, which I agree with.
If that happens genuinely.
Yeah. Yes.
If it happens
Yes.
genuinely,
Yeah. If
don't get this guy into this school. Don't put him in the school just because he's black. You need a black kid.
Yeah.
You need a brown kid.
Yeah.
That's kind of smart.
Yeah.
Go ahead, get the fucking white kid that killed his. That did
Yeah.
amazing in class.
Yeah,
I'd
yeah,
rather
yeah.
you get him because at least he put the work in.
Right.
You know?
Right.
Go help those kids who need
Yeah.
help, like when they
They-
needed help.
exactly.
You know,
Like
Yeah.
I needed help.
Exactly.
fix all the other shit that's causing this fucking problem.
Yeah.
In
And
the
then
first
in the
place.
future, you'll have no issues. It'll
Exactly.
be diverse because
Exactly.
everybody got the help that they needed. You know?
build an art space in Scarborough, so we
Yeah.
don't have to go fucking apply for this shit.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
already
Exactly.
can do this here.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Like a few of us, we were just joking yesterday about like how like, yeah, like there are people in our lives who will say like, yo, when you touch that job interview, like you better drop at least once. You better say like, as the child of a
Yeah,
refugee,
yeah,
you know,
Yeah.
you gotta
You
drop
have
that
to.
at least once.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Yeah,
yo,
yeah, yeah.
fuck, I can't do that. I can't do that. But like,
See, grant applications, I have no
no qualms.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Put all
'cause it's
that
like
shit.
You're not looking these people in the face.
Yeah,
saying
exactly.
this shit.
But if I gotta look at
I'll
this,
type that shit
I
up.
gotta look this white person in his face and as a child of no, no, I will not.
I'm not gonna brush my teeth that day just because.
Put some some
Yeah,
shit in
put
my,
some
some
shit in
lint
my hair.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Oh my gosh.
But that's the shit you have to do, and it's just like
Yeah.
it's horrible. Like I just don't like that aspect
That's right.
of this whole world now.
That's right. It makes you cynical, man.
It does, and it makes me feel like I'm going crazy.
Yeah.
You
This is
know,
like
yeah, sorry, go ahead.
it's like whatever happened to hard work, whatever happened to actually, and I don't like to do the whole talented thing, but it's like we live in a world now where anybody can just become popular and famous.
Yeah.
You play the game.
And
Merit,
it's
right? No merit.
Yeah, yeah.
There's no merit. I'm like, yo, where's Michael Jackson's? Where are, just the actual talented people that also put in the work
Yeah.
that are headlining everything that we're doing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's also like it's so temporary. Like that's why I don't want to do
Yeah.
this stuff either, because I know that okay, if I have to behave this way, or if I stop behaving like that, or what if like they stop
Yeah.
giving a shit about
Yeah.
this, then
Mhm.
I'm done. So
Yeah.
you gotta like do it on your merits. you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
Exactly.
And you see people who like get popular or whatever, and they disappear after 2-3 years or whatever. 'cause-
Yeah.
Because that's what it was.
Yeah. So,
I feel like
Moment.
that didn't happen before, pop music and shit like that, because music, art was merit based,
Right.
Mhm.
Right.
It's like, yeah, you can't just fucking play in front of a bunch of people if you don't actually know how to play, or
That's
no.
right.
We have people who don't know how to sing or don't know how to write or don't know how to, they don't know music just like as an innate just natural thing.
Yeah, man.
Or
Yeah.
at least they're not trying. They're not trying.
Yeah,
to take
that's
it
the
seriously.
thing too. Yeah, it's nothing wrong with nobody. We're not asking for people who pick it up like a fish in water or whatever. But
Exactly.
You have to be pitch perfect.
yeah, but obviously there's work there's growth, there's progress, there's
Just care.
yeah.
You can see it in so many things, like performances these days. Garbage.
Yeah.
Who are you talking about?
Mostly
Everybody,
rappers.
yeah.
Mostly rappers are just garbage performers. You're just running your track, and I get that at a low level.
Yeah.
You know, I get that at a really low level.
Yeah, when you're not getting paid.
When you're not
or-
getting paid.
Yeah.
Yeah, run your fucking track. I don't need to hear you. I don't care about your breath control right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But when you are making some money in this shit, you're doing a festival or whatever. Yo, can you put some time into this?
Yeah.
You guys, it looks like you guys just showed up today.
Yeah.
We
That's
saw
right.
Babytron.
Oh
You guys
man,
know Babytron?
Yeah.
that was insane.
And it wasn't-
I mean,
wasn't
okay,
good?
listen,
I
he
pref- I
he
hit-
spat every bar, which
Yeah.
first of all is
It's
pretty
impressive.
That's
impressive.
impressive. Yeah.
But
But,
But-
he's just walking around like
he literally just walks around the stage, daps someone, walks to the other side, daps another
takes
person.
a photo with them.
Yeah, that's not a show. That's not a performance.
Yeah.
Looks robotic.
You just came
almost.
here to rap with us,
That's right. Yeah, that's right.
to hang out, and I'm just like, nah, bro. We need to see a performance.
Yeah, it's a tough thing because I remember going to that show being like, I don't suspect he will spit every one of his bars
Yeah.
because of what did you say the thing that he does where it's like
he punches in.
he
Yeah,
punches
for
in.
sure.
Exactly.
Yeah,
And so
yeah,
as a
yeah,
result,
yeah.
like especially because he's doing it off time,
Yeah.
it's like, bro, I don't even know how you can get all those words out.
Yeah.
In like that, but he does it,
Yeah.
which is kind of impressive. But like,
Yeah.
also just like a lackadaisical kind of guy.
Yeah.
And so I think it's a funny one because it's like, yeah, it's shit. Like at that level, you have to tour to recoup costs. Like
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
just like the
Yeah.
most lucrative
Yeah.
way. But there are some people who's just like this is an artist who I greatly admire and I really appreciate, but I paid money to see them live, and I'm like, damn, like I'm gonna continue listening to them probably forever, but like I don't think I'll ever pay to see them live.
Live
It's
ever
Earl
again.
Earl
Yeah. Everyone
Sweatshirt.
will do
I'm just like, yo, man, you're
Yeah.
talented, but like you're just up there like,
My father was a pro.
just like walking back and forth like Toronto, thank you. Gonna play this next tune.
Yeah.
I love this, and like I'm singing along to whatever I can.
What are
remember,
people
but
doing in the crowd?
Just smoking,
Smoking.
just nodding their heads.
Yeah.
Okay,
All
that's
guys,
Yeah.
fucking sick,
You know,
man.
I guess it's okay. You know, like you give a pass to an artist like Earl because it's like obviously he cares about his, his art form,
so
right?
good. Like,
Yeah,
he
exactly.
really
Yeah,
is, like,
he's
this
amazing.
artist.
Yeah,
He's
so
so
it's like
good.
sure, the energy's going somewhere. The
Yes.
the care is going
That's
somewhere.
right. That's right.
But it's just also like if you're a performer, you're a front facing artist. You know, it's like
yeah. It's tough, man. So you know what? This is my, because Earl's probably listening. This is my little PSA. Consider switching to a live band. Your
Yeah.
shows will go crazy.
Oh man, yeah.
Every time I
Go
see
crazy.
a rapper perform on like a talk show or like
Live
SNL
band,
or
I
something,
appreciate it
it's
so much more.
infinitely better.
And
so
no
good.
backing track.
Yeah,
No backing
yeah.
vocals
Yeah.
or whatever.
Just
Just
do your
thing. So
you
much
can have your
better.
ad libs going.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
it, man.
Have you ever seen
Do that.
Tamir perform?
No, I haven't. Not yet.
Dude, oh my god.
Yeah,
But
his
I've
stuff's insane,
seen
yeah.
I've seen little clips
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
photos. Even the photos, I'm looking like that's a performance. I
Yeah.
can tell there's
Yeah.
energy here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can tell there's hunger.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah.
Yep.
That's
and like
all I'm asking for.
you could tell he practiced.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's right.
Exactly.
You know, like
It's so true.
Yeah.
I do wonder though on the flip side of things, because I remember there was a lot of controversy around this, but I also understood the case being made. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know if it was just Toronto or if it was multiple dates, but Summer Walker canceled a bunch of her tour because she was like, "Yo, I have performance anxiety. I have
Yeah,
social
yeah,
anxiety."
It was a bunch. It
Like-
was
Yeah.
all over the place.
Right.
Toronto was one of the main places where they were like calling her out.
Right, and it was one of the
Yeah.
first places I think.
Yeah.
Maybe,
Yeah.
if I'm not mistaken, where like it was announced maybe like an hour or two past like people being let into the space, being like, "Where's Summer Walker?" And it's like, actually, she's not coming. And so on that side, I get that on
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
on a human level. It's like I get you on that front, but and that's like a dilemma for artists because it's like, are you just never going to tour?
Yeah.
Like that's such a big blow for
Right.
your exposure, for your career trajectory as an artist. And that's a hard thing to contend with, right?
Yeah.
If that's something that you're dealing with, ideally, I mean, it's an interesting one too, because like you have to wonder how many artists want to perform, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that too.
As well.
That too. Which I understand.
Yeah.
But unfortunately,
It is, right?
You aren't Frank
tough.
Ocean.
Yeah, exactly.
you know, you're not able to do a 1-2 performance every 5 years.
Yeah, crazy.
Headlining Coachella.
That's right. That's
Yeah.
right.
That's not you.
That's right.
So for you to get there, you're gonna have to bust out these performances, and then you could disappear.
That's right, man.
You know
That's
what
so
I mean?
tough.
It's
Yeah.
just like, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Like I don't mind giving artists that, you know, a couple of that 3 years or
Right,
so
right,
to
right.
kind of figure it out.
Right.
But it's just like I saw fucking Drake
Mm.
OVO Fest last year.
Oh, word.
Boring. It's fucking trash.
I believe it.
It's fucking trash.
I
I'm
believe
watching
it.
this guy in his I was talking shit last year. I'll say it again though. Just fucking in his fucking vest, running back and forth across the stage trying to get people involved.
Pursed lips, you know?
Yeah, but people are fucking tired. You know what I mean? They're tired of this shit.
They are, man.
They're tired of this shit.
That's
It's just
right.
it's really fucking annoying. I'm seeing Nicki Minaj. She's just not Nicki Minaj anymore.
Yeah.
She's a mother.
Yeah.
I'm seeing this 40-year-old woman roll around on stage, and I'm like,
Not bringing the same energy, right?
yeah,
It's tough.
It's just. I'm looking at, and it's sad because I'm looking at the younger ones, and I'm like, this
Yeah.
is trash.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at the Drakes, the Nickis, whoever I'm supposed to be
Yeah.
caring about, actually, the people with the biggest fan bases, and they're still delivering mid.
That's
Yeah.
right.
You
Yeah,
know,
man.
and it's only a handful of artists that I could say, oh yeah, they bring it. you
Yeah,
know?
yeah.
Like I watched that Kendrick, even Dreamville looked lit, and
Oh,
I'm like,
man.
Yeah.
I'm watching that and I'm seeing Drake perform there, and I'm like, you couldn't do that in your own city.
Yeah. Insane, right? Yeah. Yeah, man. It's wild. And I think I will say, at least for the smaller artists, I will still, like, smaller as in, like, people who aren't headlining studio
Yeah.
or stadiums, etc. I will say, like, I'll come back, because it always, for me, it comes back to, like, the I mean, it kind of comes back to, like, the whole controversy around, like, Steve Lacy, where, like, he was still performing well. It was more so, like, an issue with the kind of, like, crowd,
crowd,
and,
yeah.
and the expectation around,
Yeah.
like, what
It's a
they
real
should.
tough thing to deal with.
Yeah, because, like, I will say, like, in that case, I definitely back Steve Lacy,
yeah.
and I
Yeah,
will
for
back
sure.
artists, because it's, like, the crowd was very much in the wrong.
Yeah.
And I think the argument that you've made is, like, I think it's pretty baseline to be like, oh yeah, like, I do want to come to feel entertained, but your understanding of what it means to be entertained is, like, just like, is you still understand that they have, like, a body of work that they maybe conceptualize and that they're gonna work through all that stuff, and it's just about seeing, like, that kind of effort there, you know.
That's it. Yeah.
Whereas, like, I guess what happened with Steve Lacy also, like, it started to make me think about, like, or just reminded me again of, like, the unfortunate role that artists play as, like, the front-facing, you know, for lack of a better word, kind of like puppets of this whole industry, right?
Yeah.
Which is, like, really who we need to kind of be attacking for making these artists who maybe don't want to perform or don't have stage presence or don't make music that's meant to be consumed live in this way have to do this.
Yeah.
Because that's the only way that they're going to make money, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, at that point, it's like, in some cases, I do get Steve Lacy being like, shut the fuck up to whoever's just, like, asking him for a photo or whatever it is, you know? Like I said, extreme case where, like, these are people who are just expecting, it's like, it becomes scary, almost like minstrel showy, like, you know, where it's just like, yo, you're just asking me to dance
Yeah.
when, like, that's
Yeah.
not what I'm here to do kind of deal. But
I feel like with the industry thing, I think like so many of these performers, maybe just do a small venue
Yeah.
I
and
prefer
like
it.
it would be so much better.
Yeah.
It would.
Just shows in general would be better with like smaller.
I prefer.
And I think the
smaller
problem
venues.
is these rappers or whoever, like rappers in general, because it's like a social digital kind of buzz. You know, if you're like if you're in a band or if you're even like an R&B singer, there's a chance that you performed on smaller stages
Right.
before you got some success, right? But it's not guaranteed. But like with rappers, it's like, yeah, you probably go from
They just-
recording in the
yeah,
booth
to
to
blowing
blowing,
up.
up, right? To doing a 5,000, 10,000 seats or
Yeah,
something.
Yeah.
So there's no bridging that gap. Yeah.
Yeah, it's so true. Like, a lot of it is like, I mean, there was even footage recently, like, what's his name? Central C was in America somewhere for like a Rolling Loud or one of these kind of festivals, and you had all these like North Americans like clowning him because they're like, yo, this crowd is like dead. I was just like, bro, like, he's had a few songs, but like he's not being able to build any kind of like repertoire with these people.
Yeah.
Like, of course,
It's not like a real fan base, really. Is
yeah.
it?
I mean, I think,
Especially at festivals.
yeah, oh my
Yeah.
gosh, yeah,
Especially at festivals.
Yeah.
exactly. And so it's like, it's also like creating this like crazy, this wild cycle where it's just like that's understandably it's going to be a big deal for any artist to like be able to play on a festival stage or festival show, but like they're also going to run into these cases where it's like it's not the right venue for them.
Yeah.
You've not been able to like build a meaningful relationship to like fans.
Yeah.
You've not been able to kind of like do any of the stuff that like allows for like these shows to become electric. You know what I mean? Like I was talking to Nyanu about it where like, are you guys familiar with the artist Odyssey? Does that name ring a bell?
Yeah.
He where's he from? He's from the West Coast. I'm not sure where he's from, but anyways, like you I don't know. There's a term that you used for like him, just like who he is, which is basically just like a middle class artist. Like he's just a guy who's just like
a middle class rapper.
He's a middle class rapper.
Yeah.
He's just like he's not
yeah.
caked. He's not making shit ton of money, but this guy has been making music for like 25 years.
Yeah.
And more importantly, he's like his fan base is dedicated.
Yeah.
And it's not a crazy massive fan base, but he's just like done this like groundwork. He's an incredible performer, first of all. He's super talented. He's an incredible songwriter. He works with a live band, which inevitably makes his shows really engaging. He happens to be a very charismatic, very funny, very witty guy. So he can also do crowd work at his shows. But as a result, like I went and saw him for the first time just late last year. And this was after like a friend of mine was like, yo, I got a free ticket. At that point, I probably wouldn't have bought a ticket to go see him. But I was like so captivated by this guy. And like I couldn't get over the fact that like, you know, he just like straight up asked like he was saying, I think that day he was like, you know, today marks like 20 years since I put out my first project. Like, clap if there's anyone in the room who like listened to that. And this crowd at like Access Club, like the Mod Club, is like roaring.
Yeah.
And I'm like, damn, that gave me chills.
Yeah.
I was like, that's incredible.
Yeah.
There are people who've been rocking with this guy for 20 years. And probably for the past 20 years, like he's maybe not done a venue bigger than the Mod Club.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that to me is like incredible.
Yeah.
And that's a testament to him and his band and the work that they've put in and like this relationship that they've built with their fans too, you know? Incredible.
Yeah, I remember hearing this thing like if you have like 1,000 fans or something, then that's enough to like
Somewhere.
sustain yourself as
Absolutely.
I think it's more.
like 1,000 fans. I don't know, maybe it's more.
I think
now,
it's 100,000.
Maybe.
But or even something under that. But it's like that's like worldwide.
Yeah.
Exactly.
As long as you have that, you're pretty much good.
Even then, it's like it's even the idea of like if you have 100 people who are willing to invest $1,000 into you every year,
Yeah.
you're set.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all you really need.
You're set. Or 1,000 people giving you $100.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah.
It's like
Which is like a show and an album
exactly.
and like a T-shirt or something.
Exactly.
You know?
A show
That's
and album T-shirt.
Yeah.
The bundle pack.
Yeah. That's a once a year thing. A once a year transaction that you need from like 1,000 people.
Exactly.
Very nice.
Exactly.
You know?
An investment. But it's anyways, it's like it's a wild thing and like
If you look at it in terms of like even stocks and shit, it's just interesting that like you have, if you look at these musicians and like artists as like things that the industry will invest in, right?
Yeah.
So you have maybe middle class artists, which may actually, like if you look at the statistics, I don't know, might mostly be like white bands and shit.
Yeah.
They'll get this long term funding and
Yeah.
investment, but
Yeah,
like
yeah.
when it comes to other genres, they're not going to do that.
no, that's a really good point.
Yeah.
That's a really good point.
I
He is a
wonder-
rarity. Like we don't see a lot of middle class rappers, and if we do, they are white dudes like fucking Macklemore and
Yeah.
Watsky.
Or they're like woke or
Yeah.
conscious. They're
Yeah,
conscious
yeah, yeah,
rappers.
yeah.
There's no like Babytron
That's
who's just a
right.
middle class rapper.
That's
You know.
right. That's
yeah.
right. And so much of that is like, I don't know, because it's like, I don't know. Yeah, so many freaking layers to that, man. Damn. Yeah, imagine a middle class Babytron. That'd be crazy.
I feel like if it would be Babytron who would do it. Like he
Yeah,
would
yeah,
figure out
yeah.
the because he's got a consistent kind of bag. You know, like
yeah.
he's got something where it's like I don't think I would get tired of him for at least a few years, even if he keeps doing the same shit he's been doing. You know?
That's so true.
Yeah, if
Do
you keep
you-
sampling Harry Potter.
Yeah.
Sample Harry Potter.
Do you guys know who the biggest independent artist, or Canadian? Or not Canadian, but yeah, sure, Canadian artist is one of them.
No.
Night Lavelle.
No
Mhm.
way.
Yeah.
People don't know about this dude here.
That's
People
crazy
don't
to
take
me.
him in, but this guy's famous in Europe.
Yeah,
No way.
wow.
Yeah, so it's just
I
like
can see that.
yeah, it's just like when you do some research on this guy in the comments, all you see is fucking Russian.
Good for him.
Good
you know
for
what I mean?
him.
But
Shout
that's
out
but it's
Night Lavelle, man.
amazing because it's like the type of music he makes.
Yep.
It resonates with those types of people over there that are just getting lit and doing whatever
Right,
they're
right,
doing,
right.
right?
Yeah.
But he is the biggest independent artist that nobody really here even knows about.
Wow.
And there's a handful of those guys. What's the fucking other dude's name? I can't remember his name right now. But Ian put me on to him, and he makes like stuff like Night Lavelle, or even
Like Airplane Boys have that kind of same.
Yeah, Airplane Boys even
Yeah.
had that in
Trey
Japan.
Mission is kind of like that.
Yeah.
Trey Missions like that. Trey Mission, oh, he's so sick.
Mm.
Yeah.
He's underappreciated here.
I agree.
Yeah.
But there's other guy here. He makes music like the Suicide Boys and
Yeah, I get you.
whatnot.
Dylan Ponders or whatever.
Not Dylan Ponders, but Dylan Ponders is another big. I would say he's right under Night Lavelle.
No way.
He's
Oh.
up there, bro.
Good for them, man.
He's up there. He's
Good
up
for
there,
them.
and you wouldn't know it because these
Yeah,
guys
yeah.
are chill. They live downtown.
Yeah.
They're hanging out and jogging on the street.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
You know
Yeah,
what I
man.
mean? Like
Shout out to
they're
them.
doing whatever.
Maybe
right?
these are some more of the middle class rappers that we're looking
Yeah,
for,
Yeah.
which is
But
great.
I think they
Yeah.
are. That's what I was gonna say. I think they're middle class, but it's weird. I don't think of them as middle class, but
That's right.
their lifestyle kind
Not
of is.
not like the way they live, but like their status in the
game.
In the game.
Yeah.
I guess you could say so. It's a bit more middle class.
like it's stable. You're not like
Yeah, they don't have to. They don't. They're fine. They're
Yeah.
fine for.
It's a stable
as long as
job,
they drop
yeah,
music, they're
yeah.
fine
That's right. That's right.
and they're good. So it's just interesting to see those types of artists because they don't get the attention that they deserve.
yeah.
And obviously, this is something that I would love to see change because it's like, yo, we done gave Drake all the shit he needed.
That's right. That's
He's
right.
fine.
He's fine.
Yeah.
Man.
He's
Yeah.
fine.
This guy wants another album.
You know,
He
we
wants-
all do. We all do. I want another album. You know what I mean?
But it doesn't need to be, let's make sure every rapper, big and small, has to change their fucking release date because this guy's
Yeah,
dropping
yeah,
his
yeah.
shit on this
I just
day.
want to see. I
Such
want
a
to
good
see
point.
more light shed on other talents here because we have way more talent, better talents,
Mm,
and more diverse
yeah.
talents out here. You know?
Yeah,
Tons, man.
I'd love to see Night Lavelle, Dylan Ponders, whoever else, get their recognition here because they definitely don't. And I feel like only a handful of people actually give them that and say, "Oh, yo, you're sick. I know you because you're from Toronto or you're
Yep.
from Canada.
yeah,
and that's where I'm from, and you're sick." Like that's all people want to hear at the end of the day.
Yep.
It's amazing to have that international audience.
Yep.
'Cause that locks you in. You're fine.
Yep. Absolutely.
But coming back home must be interesting. It
Yep.
stopped.
oh, interesting.
Full?
Yeah, shout out to the Prime Boys, man.
Oh man.
Yeah, the Prime Boys. We should wrap up soon, anyways.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
No
feel like it's like a
worries.
10-hour pod.
yeah.
Yeah.
We're at 2:15.
Oh shit.
3 hours. Anything we wanted to touch on before we wrap up? Yo, we've been talking for a while.
Yeah,
We should have.
This has been great.
I should have asked more questions to you guys specifically, but we're just vibing.
No,
Yeah.
man. This
So
is
it's all good.
This is a
And
lost,
it's not like
lost
this would
in
be your
talks.
last time
yeah, exactly.
here, so
Hopefully not. You know.
unless everything goes to shit after this.
That's right. Yeah. If you guys get some bad comments coming, just let us know.
Yeah. Anything you guys wanted to touch on at all?
None in particular. No.
Anything you guys are working on?
Nothing, but I don't know, something. Just the community radio, you guys. I'm just excited about it.
Yeah.
We're gonna let that simmer.
Yeah,
'cause
yeah.
I'm ready for that. You know.
Yeah, man.
We just
That
need
and a public access channel, that would be tight, man.
Whoa.
Yeah. That would be
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have lots of ideas.
Yeah, man.
There's lots of ideas. It's just making sure that we can get them done.
Yeah,
And how to approach them because we want, like we're saying, our struggle is we want to do so much shit, and we can do so much shit,
Mm-hmm.
but it's just about we're learning that it's taking away the attention that something might need. The tender love and care a single project
That's right.
may need to help
That's
Yeah.
right, man.
get access to all those other things. And trying to figure out what that is even.
Yeah, man.
But
For
until
real.
then, we're gonna do everything.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll keep at it. We'll be here, man. Happy to help however we can. Seriously.
Yeah,
Thanks a lot for having us.
I appreciate
Truly,
you guys
this is a,
stopping
this
by,
is a
man.
treat, man.
Appreciate
this
it.
was great. Yeah.
And you guys want to shout out the socials or anything? your character?
I'm private.
See? Cool. I like that.
You know what?
My Instagram's private now too.
Yeah, I recently deactivated
Yeah.
the app, so you know what? It's okay. We'll leave it for now. But
Oh, you
I'll
deactivated?
I deactivated just for now. Or sorry, I just deleted the app off my phone. But
Tamilarchive.ca.
yeah, visit
There you go.
visit Tamil Archive Project.
Tamilarchive.ca.
Is there a vote for the nominate? Is it just is it like who decides on the shout out to the Toronto Arts Foundation Award?
Oh
by
yeah,
the way, the
no idea.
Yeah.
Rise should get it though. Shout out to Rise.
Yeah, Rise also always does
Yeah.
some incredible work.
Yeah.
Go on SoundCloud.com/Krish Not Krish.
You know what? Here, you know what? I will pitch this. So, starting next Wednesday, April 19th, I'm actually doing a radio show with a community radio station out of Brooklyn
Nice.
called Half Moon Radio. And so the name of the show is called Remember When Radio. It's going to be a 2-hour show. Every week has a different music or a memory prompt that people have like submitted the songs to. And so it'll be like an hour of community radio, just kind of going through the people submissions, like some
That's
real
cool.
like
Nice.
early 2000s radio shit.
Yeah.
That's a great idea.
And then the second hour, I'll just do like a mix based on whatever that memory prompt is and all the music that kind
Sick.
of comes up from my
Sick.
life. So Remember When Radio, I'll start doing that monthly, every third Wednesday of
Beautiful.
the month. So I'll definitely share that with you
Yeah,
guys
that's
closer to.
amazing. Yeah.
But that's the only thing I have to plug. Even that felt very strange, but it's all right.
You
We're
know, what?
working
There's
through it.
nothing in the music pipeline like to announce or anything. It doesn't need need to.
You know what? No, I feel like right now I feel semi good. We were talking about this yesterday too. Bunch of small ideas,
Yeah.
musical ideas that I would just need to flourish out a little
Yeah.
bit more. But once that happens, I think it will be exciting to kind of share.
Yeah.
And maybe DJ more as well.
Yeah.
That's hopefully something we can do in the summer. Some parties maybe in Scarborough. You know, I think that's gonna happen this summer.
Yeah.
I think that's
Yeah.
gonna happen a lot.
Yeah. We've been saying we want to do something.
Yeah. I feel like that's where
Forever.
everything's kind of.
It's kind of leading to.
Yeah.
That's
leading
right.
there,
We
yeah.
found enough other people who are also like, yeah, we want to do something too.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
We've just been getting fed up.
that's right. That's right.
Yeah.
That's the name of the party.
Yeah. I
Shout
feel
out.
like
Shout out.
with
Yeah.
again, it's just about networking, meeting new people, right? We're meeting you guys,
Absolutely.
and just making sure everybody's kind of aligned, man. I don't know, people. That's why I know everything's. Unfortunately, everything's gonna work out.
Yeah.
Fun. Because we keep meeting people
No, man.
that things just align,
Yeah.
No, absolutely.
you know.
Absolutely.
And if that's what those people meant, 15 years,
Yeah,
however
yeah.
many years it's been down the line, then cool, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
But it's frustrating, but it's nice to know that I'm able to meet a lot of people that align because you don't. A lot of other people don't meet those types of people.
Exactly.
No, that's
you know?
absolutely
Yeah.
right. And I think what the two of you are doing with this podcast and just the work that you do, which I think is vital to seeing any of this change, whether we're thinking about like in this very radical way about like shifting how we organize or we see change, it starts with trust building.
Yeah.
Mhm.
We can't do this if we can't look at one another and be like, yo, I trust you.
Yeah.
I trust you to hold whatever I have to share with you. I trust you to see through this work. I trust you to like meet me in the middle. I trust you not to lash out, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Like, it sucks how long that takes and how much time and effort that it takes just to trust build. But without that, we can't do anything sustainably,
Yeah.
right? It's
Yeah.
just not going to happen because shit's going to pop off.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it makes sense as to why you've been able to so successfully collaborate with one another and your friends, because you've thankfully have built that trust and committed to building that trust for the past 30 plus years of your life,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And as a result, it's like you can come back to this creative work and know that that trust is a guaranteed, right?
Exactly.
But you're doing it again with new people. You know, we're very fortunate to kind of get in on that and
Mm-hmm.
continue to build that trust with you guys moving
Yeah.
forward, which
Yeah.
is hella exciting.
All right, yo, so that was Lost in Talks podcast. What again?
104.
104 ish. Just remember, take everything you heard on this podcast with a grain of salt. We are not role models at all. Okay, if you see any of us plastered anywhere for something that we did wrong, come back to the pod. Just recognize we are humans as well.
Yeah.
That's great.
Other than that, make sure you guys check out all the socials. Subscribe to the channel as well. And I think that's kind of it. We're getting back into things with the pod. I'm super excited. Hopefully next week have the fucking camera set up, and we can get things kind of looking normal again. And then from there, just keep elevating. So, once again, thank you guys for stopping by.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Shouts out to you guys. Shouts out Kevin. Shouts out me. Shouts out Ian. And shouts out everybody that's part of the gang, yo. And shouts out to the listeners. Appreciate you guys. Later.
Anyone join the stream?
A couple people did.
Oh, for
yeah?
real?
I don't know if they talked in chat.
Nah, I didn't see any chat.
That's all right. That's fun, man.
Oh,
That was awesome.
that was great. Yeah.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah,
Yeah.
appreciate you guys.